C157.
They are proven winners right now.
No one is covering Euro 2024 like Sirius XM. Listen in the car or on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Aaron Judge drills a 3-run home run.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Period.
Get your tickets to the National Bank Open, presented by Rogers.
CJCL Toronto. This
slams a ball to right field, way back, way gone.
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. Time
on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
A Thursday Independence Day matinee. The Blue Jays celebrated Canada Day on Monday, opening this series against the Astros. Now Houston commemorates America's birthday here in Toronto as we wrap up the 4-game set. Hi, everybody. Happy Independence Day to those who are celebrating. I'm Ben Schulman alongside former Major Leaguer Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host and producer, and Stephen Coyle, Andrew Adams, and Derek Brandeo are our technical directors. Toronto Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Sarnia and Strathroy. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com. Canada's #1 rust protection. The last game of this series brings a first for one Blue Jay. 23-year-old Leo Jimenez makes his major league debut today, playing shortstop for Toronto. He'll do it against a tough starter, the lefty Framber Valdez, while righty Chris Bassitt goes for the Blue Jays. First pitch of Blue Jays baseball is next on Sportsnet.ca, the Sportsnet app, and across the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday, so many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior Jays. Get to the ballpark early to enjoy outdoor activities before continuing the fun inside while you cheer on the Blue Jays.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca. Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop-on-the-bandwagon fan. We're the in-it-for-the-long-haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
Embrace the power. That is bold. And speed of the NTT IndyCar Series on Sirius XM.
Joseph, you got it. Wins the Indy 500.
The season rolls on Sunday afternoon at 1 Eastern at the Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio.
That was sweet.
Nice job, guys. From the green to the checkers.
Flies under the twin checkers.
Hear every thrilling lap live on IndyCar Nation Channel 218, NBC Sports Audio Channel 85.
Alex Palou. Thank you so much.
And on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The UFC is on Sirius XM. Hear all the action live from the Octagon every weekend on Sirius XM Fight Nation Channel 156.
Network.
0-2. Called strike 3. Sinker on the outside edge. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. High sinker by Bassitt gets Cabrera. Strikeouts to bookend the scoreless fourth. Another 2-2 from Bassitt to Verdugo. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. High cutter from Bassitt. He gets Verdugo for his 7th strikeout of the day.
Chris has been through a lot on the mound before. I didn't want him to do anything crazy and stupid. Chris is such a competitor and good teammate.
Hey Insiders, thanks for joining us for another Toronto Blue Jays game. Please make sure you've hit that like button down below. Click out of the chat for a second, hit that like button, and help this stream grow and get more Blue Jays fans here to hang out with us live during the game. This community is absolutely insane. It has grown like crazy, and I know that it will only continue to grow because of what you guys do as well as what I'm doing. So thank you so much. Please share this out to your friends. Please make sure that like is clicked, and let's get back to the baseball. Let's go Blue Jays. Finish strong.
In the year, Chris, no one better for the Blue Jays to have out there right now than Chris Bassitt.
No, he's been incredible. He wasn't great in April, and then as soon as that calendar hit May, he's been basically unhittable. A guy that has just so much command of that good sinker, that good fastball, and like I've said so many times, he just flips in that big breaking ball whenever he feels like it. And then he has that new cutter that he throws at the top of the zone that you really love. He is basically the heart and soul of this rotation right now, a guy that goes out there every 5 days. And like John Schneider said, he just gives you everything he has, regardless of if he's getting hit in the arm or not. I mean, he's been a steady rock in this rotation.
He is a big reason that the Blue Jays are at least still at the point that they are right now. Toronto about to start Game 4 against the Houston Astros on Independence Day in the United States. And before we get into this one, let's take a look at the standings. The standings are presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Baltimore Orioles open today, leading the AL East at 55-31. The Yankees 2 games back, 54-34. Boston's in third, they're 46-39. The Rays in fourth, 43-43. And the Blue Jays are 39-47 in fifth. Houston, after a couple wins here in Toronto in 3 games, are only 2 games back at the Seattle Mariners. Second place in the AL West, they're 44-42. Blue Jays jogging out onto the field right now. Chris, who's in the lineup starting with the visiting Houston Astros?
Well, leading off and playing second base is Jose Altuve. At third base, batting second is Alex Bregman. Yordan Alvarez will DH and bat third. Behind the plate, hitting in the cleanup spot is Yainer Diaz. John Singleton is at first and will bat fifth. At shortstop, batting sixth is Jeremy Pena. Batting seventh is Joey Loperfido. He'll be in left field. In center field, batting eighth is Mauricio Dubon. And batting ninth is Trey Cabbage. He'll be in right field. On the mound for the Astros is Framber Valdez. And for the Toronto Blue Jays, leading off and playing right field is George Springer. DHing and batting second is Danny Jansen. At first base, batting third will be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Davis Schneider will play left field and bat in the cleanup spot. At second, batting fifth is Spencer Horwitz. Behind the plate, batting sixth will be Alejandro Kirk. At third, batting seventh is Ernie Clement. At short, making his big league debut is Leo Jimenez. He'll bat eighth. And batting ninth and playing center field is Kevin Kiermaier. On the mound is righty Chris Bassitt.
Bo Bichette originally in the lineup, scratched a couple minutes before the game, and now Chris Bassitt getting his warm-up pitches in before his 18th start of the year. 7-6 is the 35-year-old righty, a 3.24 earned run average. He has struck out 91 and walked 37 in 97 and a third innings pitched. Bassitt still getting loose on the hill. Blue Jays today in their baby blue uniforms, although a lot of them with hiked up socks, some American flag socks all around the diamond, and Toronto wears a unique hat today, kind of a cream white colored hat with a red brim and an all red Blue Jays uniform in honor of July 4th. Bassitt, a native of Ohio, still getting his pitches in here, about to finish up, and we're about to start the first inning. It's brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. All 30 Major League teams are in action today on July 4th, but this is a unique celebration as this is the one that takes place north of the United States border. Jose Altuve will lead off for the Houston Astros. He steps into the box against Chris Bassitt. Altuve, a .306 hitter, 1 for 5 yesterday, 17 doubles, 13 RBIs, stands 5'6" in the righty box. Gray pant legs hiked up. It's the orange uniforms today for the Astros. Sun is shining at Rogers Center. The wind from Bassitt and the pitch. Swing and a fly ball foul down the right field line into the seats. It's 0-1. Time of the first pitch today is 1:09 Eastern, 27 degrees Celsius, 81 Fahrenheit. Pretty humid today, 60% humidity, but very sunny. A really nice sight here from the booth at Rogers Center. Bassitt winds the 0-1. Swinging a liner over the head of Jimenez at short and down and left for a base hit. The beat keeps on going. Jose Altuve's got a leadoff single.
He is just so good at hitting anything in the strike zone, anything out of the strike zone, really. He just hits that hanging slider, rips it into left field through that hole on the left side.
So Altuve sets the table here, and Alex Bregman is about to walk up to the plate. Bassitt working from the stretch. First base side of the rubber. Kicks and fires. First pitch heater. Inside 1-0. Chris Bassitt has every pitch you can think of pretty much. He's got four-seamer, sinker, cutter, slider, sweeper, curve, changeup, and splitter. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1. But it's going to be a lot of sinkers.
And most impressively recently, we've talked about this quite a bit, is that cutter that he's using at the top of the zone now. He's really, I don't want to say fallen in love with it because it's been very effective, but he's throwing it a lot more now.
1-1. Breaking ball, called strike through the rare slider right there on the outside edge to Bregman. 1-2. Yeah, it's a lot of sinker, cutter, and curveball for Bassitt. Right on right. Here's his 1-2. Bregman hits it up the middle softly, just past the reach of Jimenez into center field. Couldn't have placed that better if you're Bregman. That's a slow roller. That's probably a double play if it's hit anywhere else. But for the third baseman, it's a single, and Altuve's up to second.
Yeah, that was a great pitch. A sinker on the inside part of the plate. Jammed Alex Bregman, but he placed that perfectly right up the middle.
And this is not how the Blue Jays would have drawn it up. Yordan Alvarez, the hottest hitter in this series, is going to come up to the plate with runners on first and second, nobody out. A lot of these Astros have seen Bassitt a fair amount with his time with the A's. Alvarez has been by far the most potent against Bassitt. John Schneider even admitted today the plan is to walk him whenever possible. He can't really do that here, though, so the 3-0-3 batter comes up with first and second, no outs. Lefty swinger, 6'5" from Cuba, the pitch. Swing and a miss.
There's that cutter at the top of the zone that Yordan just swings right through.
Alvarez, though, he hits for average, 303 batter. For power, leads the Astros with 21 doubles and 19 homers. 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. And he's got a good eye. Of all the active Astros, because Kyle Tucker's on the injured list, Alvarez leads with 36 walks.
And I think the most impressive thing when you're thinking of Yordan Alvarez, he just doesn't pull baseballs. We've seen him spray that left center gap quite a bit in his career.
That's where he doubled yesterday. 1-1. Takes a pitch just off the plate inside. Another slider from Bassitt, 2-1.
So you think as a pitcher, all right, I'll throw a changeup away and he'll just roll over one. No, he waits back and he drills that pitch to left field. Such a good power hitter.
A look at second at Altuve. Bassitt's 2-1. Inside ball 3. John Schneider was asked today, you've just seen Judge, Soto, Devers, Ramirez, that being Jose Ramirez. Is Alvarez in that group? And he said, yeah, he's with those guys. The 3-1. Outside ball 4. He does walk him, and the bases are loaded with nobody out here in the first.
Well, I think the scariest thing when thinking about Yordan Alvarez in that group, it's not so much does he fit in that group, it's just how do I get him out? There's really no definitive way to get him out. Fastball's in, he pulls the hands through, changeups away, fastball's up. He's a lot like Jose Altuve with a ton more power.
It's got about a foot on Altuve also. Here's Yainer Diaz, the catcher, up with the bases loaded and nobody out, top of the first. The pitch from Bassitt. Downstairs, ball one. Ben May is umpiring home plate today. CB Buckner's at first. It's Adam Beck manning second and the crew chief, Dan Iasonia, at third. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. playing even with the baseline. Rest of the infield back prepared to trade a run for 2 outs. 1-0. Poke to right field off the end of the bat. Vladdy sprinting into foul territory. It's over his head and down on the side warning track. You can't predict it, but perhaps a bit of a symptom there of how far in Guerrero was playing that he didn't really have any chance of getting to that ball.
Yeah, that's a tough play regardless, I think, especially because it was right next to that short wall over there. If Vlad was going to have a play at that, he probably would have tumbled over that wall. Blue Jays don't want that.
Oh, he's got the netting. Bounce back in, but yeah, you're right. Nobody out, bases loaded. Yainer Diaz, .281 hitter this year, 7 homers. The 1-1. Bouncing ball hit to the right side. Guerrero dives and spears it, flips back to Bassitt, and they get him at first. Run comes in to score Altuve. That's a heck of a play from Guerrero and Bassitt combined. But the Astros end up with a run, and Diaz for a moment stayed there, but Joe Espada agrees with the call on the field. They will not challenge.
I actually think it would have been an easier play had Vlad not made that play and just let Spencer Horowitz make the easy play on that ground ball and then flip over to Chris Bassitt at first. But Vlad decided to dive for it, made the tough play, and they get the out anyways.
So 1-0 Astros, 1 out, second and third. John Singleton is up, a left-handed hitter. Singleton at first today. Here's the pitch. Low ball 1. The veteran Singleton batting .237 this year, 6 homers and 18 RBIs in 62 games. He wears a white arm sleeve with red American flag stripes on it on his left arm. 1-0. Inside, 2-0. Bassitt has certainly had a great season. Lefty's still giving him more trouble than right-handed hitters. Lefty swingers like Singleton batting .282 against Bassitt this year. Righties .235, although the numbers have improved a ton over the course of the season. The 2-0. Inside, ball 3.
Yeah, Chris Bassitt really struggled early on, throwing that fastball inside to lefties, throwing that cutter inside to lefties. He would generally leave it out over the middle of the plate, and that's probably why his numbers were so inflated early on. He's really rectified that recently, though.
3-0 pitch. Fastball down the middle, strike 1. First base is open, so he doesn't have to go right after Singleton. Second and third for the Astros. 1-0 Houston, top of the first inning. With 1 out, the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a liner headed to center. That's a base hit down in right center field. Jogging home, Bregman. Alvarez gets the wave. He'll jog home. Throw goes back into second. It's a 2-run single for John Singleton and a 3-0 Houston lead.
The only thing I don't love about that pitch selection is lefties can see the hump on that breaking ball. You can see John Singleton really waiting back on that slow 70-mile-an-hour curveball, and he absolutely drilled that thing to center field. If I'm in that situation, a 3-1 count, base open, I'm flipping in a split finger or a changeup, something that looks like a fastball where they're way out in front, maybe a ground ball or a pop-up.
So a tough start to this outing for Bassitt. His first pitch to Jeremy Pena, high ball 1. Righty's thrown 20 pitches, given up 3 hits and 3 runs so far. There's 1 out. Next offering. Fastball outside, 2-0. Last time Bassitt allowed 3 runs, which certainly isn't a bad start when you give up 3, but last time he'd even allowed 3 was June 2nd. It's been over a month. It's 2-0. called inside, borderline pitch, but it's 3 balls and no strikes.
Well, Chris Bassitt didn't like that call right there, kind of chuckling to himself out there. Ben May said that pitch was inside. Didn't look inside to me. Maybe a little bit.
3-0. Down the middle, strike 1. Shortstop Pena batting .277 this year, 16 doubles and 6 homers, 36 runs batted in. Pena, born abroad, grew up in Rhode Island, though. 3-1. Foul back out in front there on the cutter from Bassitt, and it's a full count. Three 0 Houston, top of the first inning. Bassitt steps on the first base side of the rubber. Now comes set above the belt. He kicks and delivers. Low, ball 4. Second walk of the frame for Chris Bassitt.
Well, he's been pretty erratic with that fastball early on to lefties, to righties, and there to Jeremy Pena. He throws that fastball. Not a terrible location, not a terrible pitch, just below that strike zone. A good take from Jeremy Pena.
Alejandro Kirk goes out to the mound. That gives us an opportunity to take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in '92. Join them for wings, ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every play at your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. Everyone is in action today, and already the Red Sox are beating the Marlins, looking to sweep Miami. Boston's up 1-0 in the first inning. Rafael Devers grounded out but drove in a run. Bassitt back on the mound. Here's the lefty swinger Joey Loperfido. First pitch strike. Elsewhere on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, Cincinnati tries to sweep the Yankees today. Won each of the last 2 days. 0-1. Called strike 2. That one is scoreless right now in the top of the first inning. Former Yankee Frankie Montas faces off against Marcus Stroman today.
You think Stroh's pumped to throw on the 4th of July?
I think he is. He quite notably pitched the United States to the World Baseball Classic Gold in 2017. 0-2. Swing and a pop-up. Back of third. Clement going back. So is Jimenez, and the rookie will make his first play in the field. He makes the catch on his first ball hit out to him. And there are 2 down.
Not a tough play, though.
Well, he was fighting the sun.
Getting his feet wet, I guess.
No one else was catching that ball, I'll tell you that. Ernie did not have a beat on it. Left fielder Davis Schneider was out there. I think no offense guy who stands on the mound and has people call him off on pop-ups over the middle. I think it was a little tough.
The most impressive thing is the sunglasses are on his hat. He was not wearing those sunglasses.
He is not, which I've never understood. Why bring him out there? 2 outs, first and second, 3-0 Astros. Top of the first, and the pitch to Mauricio Dubon is hit foul, 0-1. Dubon in center field today for the Astros. It's a third different position he started at in this series alone in 3 games he's played. .287 batter, 3 homers, 29 RBIs. Singleton on second and Pena on first. The 0-1 pitch. Swing and a pop-up back of first. Guerrero onto the turf into foul territory, makes an over-the-shoulder catch and ends the inning. Astros, though, come up with 3 on 3 hits. John Singleton's 2-run single helps Houston to a 3-0 top of the first lead. We're in the middle of the first. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop-on-the-bandwagon fan. We're the in-it-for-the-long-haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
Hey, this is Danny Jansen. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Show Ali, our host and producer, Andrew Adams, Derek Brendeo, and Stephen Coyle, our technical directors. Framber Valdez on the mound for the Astros, the lefty making his 15th start of the year. Winds and offers to George Springer. No time is going to be called. And Framber's received a pitch clock violation before the first pitch. Gives me a second to let you know how he's done this year. 6-5 with a 3.80 earned run average, 68 strikeouts, 29 walks, and 85 and a third. And his next pitch misses down and in, so quickly he's down in the count, 2 balls, no strikes to Springer, but the Astros are up 3-0 on the Blue Jays. 2-0. On the inside edge, a fastball for strike one. Long-haired lefty Valdez staring at his former teammate in Springer, winds and delivers. And Springer ropes a ball right center field. That's down for a base hit, cut off by Dubon. George Springer around first, clapping. And looking back at the Blue Jays dugout, he's got a leadoff single.
Well, he should be clapping because we haven't seen that type of swing from him very often. That fastball was out over the plate. He didn't try to pull it and just hit a good line drive into center field. That is a good leadoff hitter right there.
You're going to see a lot of fastballs today from Framber Valdez. Throws it over 50% of the time. It's a sinking fastball, two-seamer. Also has a curve, a change, and a slider. It's pitched to Danny Jansen, called strike one.
Yeah, you mentioned the sinking fastball. When he's at his best, that fastball sinks a ton. I don't think it's been sinking as much this season, but when he's on, it has a lot of depth to it.
Lefties kick and pitch. Jansen takes in the dirt. Danny Jansen returning to the team today off the paternity list. If you weren't with us yesterday, his wife Lexi gave birth to his second kid, first daughter, Josephine Stevie Jansen. 1-1. Called high and outside. It's been a tight zone today. That'll make it 2-1, but that looked pretty good.
And just to clarify, not named after Stevie Nicks.
No.
I had that question.
Jansen's dad's name is Steve. The 2-1. Foul tipped into the glove. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jansen DHing today. 227 hitter, 13 doubles, 5 homers. Runner on first and the 2-2. Swing and a little soft line drive, one hopping foul into the first base dugout. No batting gloves as always for Jansen, but a ton of hand protection, including that outside of the hand guard on his front left. 2-2. Bends the knee, doesn't go around on a fastball upstairs. Diaz liked the spot, but it's 3 balls to 2 strikes.
Yeah, Diaz loved that spot. It actually was pretty close to being a strike. He pointed with his glove out to Valdez.
Southpaw sets, staring at Springer. The 3-2 is roped to left field, and that's a base hit for Jansen. 2 bounces into the glove of Lo Perfido. Both Blue Jays have stung the ball so far, and Toronto's got first and second, nobody out, with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. coming up.
Well, this is a good start to this game for this offense. Danny Jansen needed that base hit. It was a sinker right down the middle, and he drilled it in the left.
This is starting a lot like the Astros 3-run first, where both Altuve and Bregman had hits before Alvarez came up. Alvarez would walk, all three eventually would score. 3-0 Houston. Springer on second, Jansen on first. The pitch to Guerrero. Down and in, blocked by Diaz, 1-0. Vlad's a .297 hitter. That leads the team. 18 doubles leads the team. So does his 13 homers and 50 RBIs. .1-0. Breaking ball. Buckles Vlad for strike one. Wasn't his loudest day at the plate yesterday, but Guerrero did come up with a first inning single, went 1 for 4. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a foul back. A little bit late on 96 there. Hits it on the ground behind him, 1-2.
Yeah, Valdez's best fastball of the day, 96, with a little bit of sink at the end there. That's a tough pitch.
And it came right after 78 with the curveball. Lefty set at the belt, third base side of the rubber, staring at second. Now deals home. Swing and another foul tip. That one hit the bat of Guerrero, then bounced off the catcher Diaz and caromed into the backstop. Vlad taps the far corner, then near corner of the plate. Brings his black bat above his right shoulder. And the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Pulled the string on him there with the changeup. And there's one out.
His changeup is actually pretty hard. That one right there, 91.5 miles an hour, but it has a lot of downward action to it. It's almost like a slower sinker. Vlad just swings right over the top of that thing. That thing's nasty.
First out and first strikeout of the day for Valdez. First pitch to Davis Schneider's a high fastball, strike one. Schneider batting cleanup today after the late lineup change bumped Bassitt out. Playing left field, right-handed hitter, looks out at Valdez. Here's the 0-1 pitch from the lefty. No, he's going to actually step and turn around. Springer gets back to the bag without a throw, and he'll take his lead off second again. Jansen leading off first. 2 hits for the Blue Jays already in this inning, but they trail 3-0. The 0-1. Swing and a liner down in left field for a hit. Springer had to wait, so he will go to third. Up to second is Jansen, and the bases are loaded for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that ball was absolutely stung. All 3 base hits for the Blue Jays so far have been on a line and barreled up.
And you had mentioned that Jansen really needed it. Schneider, that's a big help to him as well. His last hit on the 27th of June, and before that on the 24th in Cleveland. So that's a good sign for the Blue Jays. And now the guy who was brought into the lineup today when Bo Bichette had to exit that lineup minutes before the game, Spencer Horwitz will bat for the Blue Jays. He's playing second base today and is one of only 2 left-on-left matchups. Valdez will see.
Yeah, generally Valdez is pretty tough on lefties, but I actually like this matchup. Horwitz is a smart hitter. He takes that ball the other way. I'm excited to see this one.
Bases loaded, 1 out, 3-0 Astros, bottom of the first. From the wind, the pitch. Swing and a bouncing ball up the middle, into center field, a base hit. Springer in to score. They're giving the wave to Jansen. He'll score. Up to third, Schneider. It's a 2-run single for Spencer Horwitz and a 3-2 game.
Well, he didn't waste any time. He got that fastball at the bottom of the zone and just hit a ground ball up the middle. A good approach right there from Spencer Horwitz.
So the Blue Jays have almost entirely scraped back what they gave up in the top of the first. Astros scored 3 that inning here with only 1 out. The Blue Jays have scored 2. Davis Schneider is on third. Horwitz is on first. Here comes Alejandro Kirk. Valdez back into the stretch. The pitch. Swing and a rope down the left field line, fair ball, rolling into the corner. Schneider scores, up to third base, Horwitz. They'll stop him there. It's an RBI double for Alejandro Kirk. 3-3 in the bottom of the first. They are just smashing balls today off Framber Valdez. It's all hard contact for Toronto.
Yeah, outside of Spencer Horowitz's ground ball, every hit for the Blue Jays has been on a line and been hit on the nose. That one right there, no different. And Alejandro Kirk is standing on second base.
Second and third for the Blue Jays. Still only one out. The pitch to Ernie Clement. Fouled off. 0-1. Clement hit that off his front foot. 3-3, bottom of the first inning. Clement batting here for the first time today. He's a .263 hitter, 14 RBIs. The 0-1. Swinging a liner, caught at third, and a tag applied on the runner. Bregman catches the liner and gets Horwitz for a line-out double play. That was a more solid contact from the Blue Jays, but that one ends up stinging them. It's a 3-run first for Toronto on 5 hits and a 3-3 game. Blue Jays and Astros after one. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Spend 4th of July in the Hamptons with the superstars of electronic dance music. Vibe to sets from Swedish House Mafia, Sophie Tucker, Kygo, and many more. Captured live at Palm Tree Festival 2024, all throughout Independence Day.
You wanna meet me at the bar?
Yeah. Let's go on BTM Channel 52 and the Sirius XM app.
My name is Craig Biggio, and my road to Cooperstown was one that was full with a lot of ups and downs.
This is John Paul Morosi. Coming up on the next episode of The Road to Cooperstown, I sit down with Hall of Famer Craig Biggio.
Catcher to second and center. Nobody's ever played all three in a full season. I did everything that the team ever asked me to do, so I take a lot of pride in that.
The Road to Cooperstown airs Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89, and the all-new Sirius XM app. New episodes drop every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts.
The Busted Open podcast is now available on YouTube. This is Dave LaGreca, host of Busted Open, the #1 pro wrestling show on the planet. You can now watch and listen to the award-winning Busted Open podcast every single day on YouTube. Our best interviews, behind-the-scenes access, and some of our best content from the past. All available right now when you go to youtube.com/@BustedOpenPodcast. Subscribe right now.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's the second inning presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. 3-3 game, Astros and Blue Jays after one. Chris Bassitt's first pitch to Trey Cabbage, called strike one. I'm Ben Schulman, to my left Chris LaRue, and that was about as interesting of a first inning as you can have.
It was fun to watch, that's for sure.
0-1. Cabbage cuts and misses, 0-2. Number 9 hitter Cabbage leads off this inning for Houston. Former Angel in his second major league season. The 0-2. High. Cabbage playing in his 28th game of the year, a .264 batter. Bassitt winds. Here's the 1-2. Chopped foul off to the right. Just goes past Dave Clark, first base coach for the Astros. Gary Pettis, the third base coach, and Pettis, the longtime center fielder for the California Angels, Tigers, a little bit of Texas too, a 5-time Gold Glover in his career. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Bassitt goes off speed on Cabbage with the changeup, gets him out in front, and that's his first strikeout of the start.
I think he's going to need to throw that changeup just a little bit more today if he's going to have success against the Astros lefties. That was a great pitch right there. Looked like a fastball and then dove out of the strike zone.
Here comes Jose Altuve after that strikeout. Corners are pinched in case of a bunt. 1 out, bases empty, the pitch. Swing and a foul back. There are just 3 days left to join in on Jays Care's Split the Pot raffle, and the grand prize is approaching $1.5 million and will skyrocket before this life-changing draw ends this Sunday at midnight Eastern. Visit BlueJays.com/5050 to get your tickets from Ontario or Nova Scotia. 0-1. Swing and a liner. Foul ball just misses the chalk down the left field line. It's 0-2.
And if you were one of the 10 winners in that Jays Care 50-50, you get a check for $149,572. Is that right?
And 50 cents?
And 50. Well, $78.50 now.
It's climbing. It'll at least be. I mean, I can't guarantee anything, but I think it'll at least be $150,000.
That's a nice check.
It is. 0-2. Poked out toward right field, charging in Springer, and it's down in front of him. He'll block it off the chest. Looked like he thought about the dive for a moment, but decides to play it off the hop, and that's just Altuve hitting a pitch way out of the zone for a hit, as he's done his whole career.
I mean, I think with most people, you would probably get frustrated with a hit like that, but because Jose Altuve is actually trying to do that, that's just who he is. Like I've said a couple times this series, I have no idea how to get him out.
I mean, when people say throwing the bat at the ball, like that was almost literal for Altuve, how far off the plate and down it was, and he hits the sweeper into right. He's on first. Here's the pitch to Alex Bregman. Swing and a liner just over the leap before it's at second, a base hit. These two each had hits in the first, and they do it again in the second. Altuve now at second, Bregman at first, and the dangerous Yordan Alvarez coming up.
And going back to Jose Altuve's base hit, George Springer thought about diving, and he kind of second-guessed it, pulled up, and kept Jose Altuve at first base. It's a smart play because you don't want that guy in scoring position with one out. And look at that base hit by Alex Bregman. Jose Altuve would have scored on that base hit.
But now they have to pitch to Alvarez for a second straight time. Mentioned last inning. They didn't want to pitch to him, admittedly, today, or at least that's what John Schneider said, if possible. Alvarez has 5 career home runs against Chris Bassitt. First pitch, outside, ball 1. He is 8 for 18 in his career with 5 homers against the righty. Alvarez walked in the first inning on 5 pitches and came around to score. A look at second, Bassitt's pitch. Just off the outside edge, 2-0.
I feel like he's one of the greats in the game right now that you don't really hear that much about. He kind of flies under the radar. Am I right with that?
I think so. I mean, it's such a great team sometimes. Yeah. So much attention on Altuve early in the season. Tucker. The 2-0. Called strike, 2-1. And for Alvarez, he's always near the top in terms of home run hitting, but he actually hasn't had a 40-homer season yet. It's all mid-30s, so maybe you wait for that one huge Pete Alonso, Aaron Judge-like year where he hits 40-something, 50-something, 2-1 pitches high, 3-1.
And to lump him in with Aaron Judge, to some people probably seems outlandish, but he has that type of potential. If he's a 45-homer guy hitting 300, I would not be shocked.
He's still relatively young, is Alvarez, despite his experience coming up in 2019. 3-1. Called strike. Bassitt gets a big break there. That pitch looked pretty high. And Astros dugout is letting Ben May know about that for sure. You could argue all 5 pitches in this at-bat were out of the zone, but it's a 3-2 count.
It should be 5-0 right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's high. There's no way around it. The set from Bassitt. Full count, 1 out, first and second. The pitch. Swing and a fly ball, shallow left field, angling over toward the line. Davis Schneider's under it. He squeezes it, and Alvarez is retired.
And we've seen Yordan Alvarez crush changeups during this series, but Chris Bassitt throws that changeup right there. Again, it looks like a fastball. I think that's the key with Yordan Alvarez, and he was way out in front, hits a weak fly ball to left field.
So now 2 down. Alejandro Kirk out in front of the plate. Just making sure the defense knows where they want to go here in case of a double steal. It's Altuve on second and Bregman on first. Yainer Diaz at the plate. 0 for 1 with an RBI groundout. A look at second by Bassitt, the pitch home. Swing and a fly ball deep left field. Hooking foul into the stands. What a big crowd we have today on a rare Thursday 107, or it ended up being 109, but 1 o'clock first pitch. It is loaded here at Rogers Center for the finale of this series.
It was a lot of fun fighting with all the traffic getting in here today. I loved it.
Very fun. The 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Diaz waggling the bat high above his right shoulder. Faces a 1-1 pitch from Chris Bassitt. Takes it. Called strike 2. Missed his spot, but hit the outside edge.
Ben May was a little late with that call. I thought that he was going to call that a ball, and I was going to be very frustrated.
I mean, that was a big miss of the spot, so it was an awkward receive from Kirk. But, yeah, that's definitely a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 outs, 3-3 game. Top of the second, the pitch. Check swing pitch was high. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You could see Chris Bassitt and Alejandro Kirk trying to hit the hands of Yainer Diaz with that cutter a little bit above the target with that pitch. But if they hit their target, Yainer Diaz would have swung right through that cutter.
Diaz stands close to the plate. Stands maybe just a hair open. Bassitt's going to step off. Diaz will take the helmet off, wipe some sweat off his forehead. It's a steamy day down on the field with almost 60% humidity and 27-degree temperatures at first pitch. Sun overhead. Only shade on the field is in deep center. The 2-2. Swing and a bouncing ball hit to the second baseman Horwitz. He gathers, throws over to first, and that's a scoreless frame for Chris Bassitt. Deals with hits from Altuve and Bregman, but strands both of them. It's a 3-3 game, middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop on.
Hey, Insiders, thanks for joining us for another Toronto Blue Jays game. Please make sure you've hit that like button down below. Click out of the chat for a second, hit that like button, and help this stream grow and get more Blue Jays fans here to hang out with us live during the game. This community is absolutely insane. It has grown like crazy, and I know that it will only continue to grow because of what you guys do as well as what I'm doing. So thank you so much. Please share this out to your friends. Please make sure that like is clicked, and let's get back to the baseball. Let's go, Blue Jays. Finish strong.
Are not the same. So that's our company name. 2 men in a truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks. So give us a call today.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Green kicks and delivers. Swing and a miss. They defeat the Mariners
on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the second in downtown Toronto, taking some swings before batting in this 3-3 ball game. Blue Jays and Astros. Leo Jimenez is about to hit for the first time in a major league game. 23-year-old Panamanian walking up to the plate. He will start his major league career facing Framber Valdez. Jimenez, 5'10", a middle infielder, twists his hips, points the bat out toward Valdez, and now wheels it around above his right shoulder. Open stance, bent knees, the pitch. Down and in, ball 1. Jimenez having a strong year with AAA Buffalo. The 1-0. Takes it again, called strike. 271 this season, 8 doubles, 7 homers. and an on-base percentage well above 400 in 57 games. 1-1. Swing and a chopper foul. 1-2.
Yeah, that tells me that he has a good eye at the plate. And when you look at a guy in AAA and he has pretty good numbers like he does, and he has a high on-base percentage, that tells me that he's ready for the big leagues.
1-2 pitch. Takes the fastball high and outside. 2-2. For Jimenez, it was his first full season in AAA this year. Got there late last year. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Valdez drops the changeup right at the bottom of the zone and gets Jimenez for the first out of the inning. His second strikeout of the game for Framber Valdez. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Timbermart always has someone on deck to help you with any home improvement projects. Before you begin renovating, visit the team at Timbermart. They've got the know-how to make sure you come out swinging on your next project. Timbermart, Canada's building center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Andrew Adams, Derek Brandeo, and Stephen Coyle, our technical directors. Show Ali, our host and producer. Kiermaier just took strike one. Here's the 0-1. And Kevin Kiermaier takes strike two.
It's a tough matchup for Kevin Kiermaier. He hasn't had a ton of success this season against good lefties, and Framber Valdez is one of the best.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Waves out a breaking ball. Kiermaier down on 3 pitches. Back-to-back strikeouts for Valdez. 2 down.
Wasn't really close on that last breaking ball. That was a tough matchup, like I said. A tough breaking ball. He swung way over the top of that one.
Blue Jays had 5 hits and 3 runs on Valdez in the first. Here's the pitch to George Springer, called strike one. Springer started that. He lined the ball to right center field on Valdez's 4th pitch of the day. The 0-1. Bounce to the plate. Springer's batting average up to .216 now. Was in the 180s, 190s for a large portion of the year. 1-1. Foul tipped. Springer down to a knee. Uses his bat to get his balance and back up to his feet. It's 1-2. Nine home runs on the season for George, including a 3-run shot in the 3rd inning 2 days ago. 1-2. Swing and a bouncing ball up the middle, fielded by Pena. Shortstop comes up with it, throws to first, and ends the inning. A 1-2-3 for Valdez in the second. 3-3 Blue Jays and Astros. We're going to the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
So, you want to be a Looney Dogger, eh? Every Tuesday Blue Jays home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Grab $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around Rogers Center. Plus, stop by the Schneider's Porch, your hot dog headquarters. The destination for a one-of-a-kind hot dog experience with excellent ballpark views. So, whether you're the relish ringleader or 7th-inning snacker, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. Don't miss out on this delicious deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Jose Barrios with a trio of strikeouts to end a scoreless 6.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
3rd inning in downtown Toronto. Sunny day at Rogers Center. 3-3 Blue Jays and Astros. Chris Bassitt into the wind. First pitch. Called strike against John Singleton. 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Appreciate you spending either this Independence Day or it's a camp day here at Rogers Center 0-1. Check swing, called strike, 0-2. Bassitt on the first base side of the rubber now steps on. Sets at the belt. A breath, the wind, the 0-2 to Singleton. Inside, 1-2.
It's not as loud as your average camp day. Normally there's a lot of screaming. I find myself covering my ears for most of the day.
Well, school day especially.
Oh, yeah, school day is loud.
School day is tough.
Tough.
On your ears, at least. The 1-2. High, 2-2. Now, I guess you'd figure camp day would be similar because it's the same demographic, for lack of a better term, but maybe the sun has tired out the kids a little bit. Two-two. Near the back ankle of the left-handed hitter Singleton, who from 0-2 has worked to full count. You can see some of the groups. There's a pack of fans all wearing orange in the 500 level down the left field line. I think that's neon green near the corner. Some big signs out there. 3-2 pitch. Check swing. Called strike 3. Delayed call by Ben May. The sinker just grabbed the inside edge. And there's one out.
Yeah, that was another one of those pitches where Chris Bassitt missed his spot by a lot. Very clearly a strike, but Alejandro Kirk had to reach across the strike zone. And a lot of the time, umpires don't call those pitches strikes. Ben May rings up Singleton right there.
Was the right call, and for Bassitt, it's his second strikeout of the day. Here's his pitch to Jeremy Pena. Swinging a foul back, 0-1. We're in the third inning, which is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Sarnia and Strathroy. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com. Canada's #1 rust protection. 0-1. Swing and a fly ball. Medium depth left. Sprinting over near the line. Schneider's under it. One-handed catch. 2 outs. It's a little bit rare that the Blue Jays are here on the 4th of July. Not typically how it works. Usually they play a 3-game series starting on July 1st and then end up somewhere else for July 4th, kind of similar to the Victoria Day Memorial Day split. Pitch to Joey Loperfido, inside ball 1.
I have to be honest, I have a good friend that lives in Houston, and he texted me yesterday, and he pretty annoyed, it seemed like, why are the Astros playing in Toronto?
It's your fault, is what I heard. You make the schedule.
And I said, I don't know, man. I don't make the schedule.
It's not like it never happens. 1-0. Check swing, called strike. Last time the Blue Jays were home for a 4th of July was actually 2021, so that doesn't really count. They were at Salem Field in Buffalo. But last time they were here for a 4th of July was 2019. So it does happen. That was against the Red Sox. 1-1. Called strike 1-2.
I'm sure the schedule makers do their best to have the Blue Jays on the road for that 4th of July. At home, of course, for July 1st, and then on the road for 4th of July. But if they can't do it, they can't do it.
Yeah. Toronto is playing the last of this homestand here, an 8-game homestand. Then they'll go to a 3-city West Coast road trip. 1-2. Upstairs. Starts with one of the more fun, if not the most fun road series of the season coming up in Seattle starting tomorrow. That'll go Friday to Sunday, day off Monday, and then 3-game trips to San Francisco and Arizona before the All-Star break. 2-2. Foul back. Toledo, Ohio's Chris Bassitt walking back up the hill. About to throw to Joey Loperfido, who was born in Philadelphia. 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Change up on the inside edge. Might have been off the plate, but Bassitt gets the benefit of the call. And he pitches a 1-2-3 top of the third with a pair of strikeouts. We go to the bottom half of the inning. 3-3 Blue Jays and Astros. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The battle for European soccer supremacy has reached the knockout stage, and all the drama of the Euros is on Sirius XM.
Oh my goodness!
just want a story. Every match is now win or go home, and they can all be heard on Fox Sports Channel 83.
That is sensational.
Before and after the matches, hear what the experts are saying on Sirius XM FC 157.
They are proven winners right now.
No one is covering Euro 2024 like Sirius XM. Listen in the car or on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your Sirius XM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on Sirius XM Channel 89. Or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. Sirius XM Sports. We're more than just a game.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on Sirius XM. We're back on the track Sunday,
3:30 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Grant Park 165 from the Chicago Street Race.
Yeah.
On Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, in the car, and on the all-new Sirius XM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the Sirius XM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yes.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
Bottom of the third inning in downtown Toronto. Framber Valdez looking out towards center field. Now steps onto the rubber. He'll wind and pitch to Danny Jansen. Bounce to the plate, 1-0. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host and producer. Andrew Adams, Derek Brandeo, Stephen Coyle, our technical directors today. Interesting for Valdez, who was starting his windup facing home plate the last two innings, now starts perpendicular to the plate, looking out toward first. He winds, and the 1-0. Called strike.
And it's not like he's walking a ton of guys. Hasn't walked one guy yet. Usually you see that when guys are walking some guys, the command really isn't there, but seems
1-1. Just misses the outside edge, 2-1.
Kind of odd.
And he's not from the stretch, to be clear. He's setting up like he might be throwing from the stretch, but he does do an abbreviated wind. Here's his 2-1. Just misses upstairs to Jansen. 3 balls and 1 strike. Danny Jansen with a single in the first inning came around to score, part of a 5-hit, 3-run first. 3-1. Outside ball 4, and there's the first walk for Valdez of the day as Jansen flips away his bat.
He might want to go back to how he was throwing in the first and the second inning.
Jansen aboard. Here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Pretty rare over this last stretch that the Blue Jays had a big inning. Vlad wasn't a part of it. He struck out in the first on a changeup. From the stretch, the pitch. Right down the middle, strike 1. Huge gap on the right side of the infield. Second baseman Altuve up the middle. First baseman Singleton holds on Jansen. They play him way to the pull in the infield, but the outfield actually is playing Vlad mostly straight up. 0-1. Down and in. Gets away from the catcher Diaz, but he has a beat on it. Jansen stays at first.
It's interesting that the Astros are playing him on the infield at least to pull, because we've seen Vlad shoot that hole quite a bit since he's been hot.
Did he yesterday? The 1-1. Outside. Carlos Fablis delivering some signs. The third base coach claps and walks to the back of the coach's box. Jansen leading off first, and Guerrero at the plate. Valdez staring at Jansen. Kicks, fires home. Vlad takes high and outside again. 3 balls and 1 strike. Walks have hurt the lefty at times. If you go to his last start where he gave up 6 runs, 3 of them earned in fewer than 5 innings against the Mets, he walked 3. It's been an uncharacteristic year for the lefty, who's dealt with some injury. 3-1 pitch. Swing and a bouncer off the glove of the pitcher. Turns, throws to second for 1. Back to first. 1-4-3 double play. That's a heck of a recovery by Valdez, and a great double play to erase the leadoff walk and make it 2 down.
Well, he caught that baseball and was falling back when he threw it to Jose Altuve at second base. I thought they would have no chance at Vlad at first base. They got him by a decent amount. That's a great play by Framber Valdez.
So 2 outs, and now Davis Schneider up. Blue Jays just rolled into their 72nd ground ball double play of the season, third most in Major League Baseball. Pitch to Davis Schneider, called strike 1. Teams ahead of them are the Yankees and the Padres. Schneider with a single in the first, came around to score. 0-1. Sliced back behind the plate, foul, 0-2. Oh-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Gets him out in front on the curve. And for Valdez, he faces the minimum once again here in the third inning after the leadoff walk, a ground ball double play, and a strikeout. We're about to go to the fourth in this 3-3 ball game. Stick with us. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Embrace the power and speed of the NTT IndyCar Series on SiriusXM.
Joseph Newgarden wins the Indy 500.
The season rolls on Sunday afternoon at 1 Eastern at the Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio.
That was sweet.
Nice job, guys. From the green to the checkers.
Flies under the twin checkers.
Hear every thrilling lap live on IndyCar Nation Channel 218, NBC Sports Audio Channel 85.
Alex Palou. Thank you so much.
And on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
The final major championship of 2024 is coming, and you can hear all the action on SiriusXM.
Up toward the hole, has a chance, and it goes! Rory McIlroy with an overhand fist bump!
Coverage of the 152nd Open Championship begins Monday, July 15th, with play-by-play beginning Thursday, July 18th on Open Radio.
He's holding the big one! Brian Harman is the champion golfer of the year!
Hear the 2024 Open Championship on Channel 92 when you're in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
Blue Jays fans, no matter where you are, you won't miss a pitch with the SiriusXM app. Hear every game all season long. Download the SiriusXM app and search Blue Jays.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to downtown Toronto, top of the fourth inning. Blue Jays and Astros tied at 3. Chris Bassitt's first pitch of the frame backs Dubon off the plate, but it drops in the zone, strike 1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Dubon, Cabbage, and Jose Altuve for the Astros this inning. The 0-1. Hit softly up the middle, and it drops into center field for a base hit. That one was off the handle, a changeup well off the plate inside, but Mauricio Dubon has his first hit today.
The only problem with that changeup is it was about thigh high, a hittable height for Dubon. If that pitch was below the strike zone, he probably would have swung and missed at it.
Instead, though, Dubon on first, and now the lefty swinger and number 9 hitter Trey Cabbage is up. He struck out in the second. First pitch is outside, 1-0. We're in the fourth, which is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. Ernie Clement in at third in case of a bunt. 1-0 to Cabbage. Swing and a fly ball off the end of the bat, down in the seats down the left field line, 1-1.
I wouldn't mind if Chris Bassitt throws a changeup right here, gets a ground ball, maybe a double play. His pitch count is getting up there, so it would be great if you could get a double play right here.
Bassitt in the set. Here's his 69th pitch of the day. Freezes Cabbage with the slow curve, called strike 2.
Or that.
Works. Maybe now the changeup.
The only reason why I say changeup is because guys swing at the changeup, and they tend to hit a ground ball on that changeup to get a quick couple of outs.
Curve is more of a swing and miss pitch for Bassitt, or a called strike pitch. 1-2. Went upstairs that time. That was the cutter, but he missed up and away. Cabbage steps out for a moment, taps the far edge of the plate, and looks out at Bassitt, who's going to his right hip. Starter has what he wants in the pitch comp, set on the mound. Dubon leading off first. 2-2. Swing and a fly ball deep center field. Kiermaier going back into the shade, backpedaling on the edge of the track, makes the catch. Dubon went almost all the way to second. He'll retreat to first. There's one out.
A big out right there. Now you got the top of the lineup, Jose Altuve, coming to the plate.
He has been a tough guy to retire today. Altuve with a pair of singles, one to left, one to right. And in the second inning, it was an 0-2 sweeper way off the plate, down and away, that Altuve hit into right field. He's a .310 batter this year. He's approaching 2,200 career hits. And he stands in the righty box. Bassitt from the stretch, one out, runner on first, the pitch. Inside, ball one.
Outside of that fastball up at the hands, because I don't think anybody can really hit that pitch, regardless if you're a lefty or righty, whatever. Do you see a hole in Jose Altuve's swing?
No. I mean, if you don't see one, how am I?
Well, I'm also a pitcher.
Yeah. 1-0. Down and away, 2-0. Well, he's Altuve, second among active players in hits. Playing now in his 14th Major League season, 34 years old. Bassitt, the 35-year-old, comes set. Behind in the count, 2-0. He nods and delivers. Outside, 3 balls, no strikes. Do you have an idea of who might be the active leader in hits?
In hits?
Yeah.
Can you give me a league?
National League.
National League.
His whole career, National League.
I don't think it's Freddie Freeman.
It is Freddie
Freeman.
Is
Freddie Freeman.
2,210 hits coming into today for Freddie Freeman. 3-0. Called strike. It goes Freeman, Altuve, Votto, McCutchen, Goldschmidt. But McCutchen, the top 4 have over 2,000 hits. Everyone else has under 2,000. Goldschmidt will get there in a couple weeks.
That's a guy that flies under the radar. Freddie Freeman.
Oh, or Freeman.
Well, yeah. Goldschmidt, too.
3-1, runner takes off from first, pitches inside, ball 4. Dubon with a head first dive into second, but doesn't matter. He's up to second, and Altuve is down to first with a walk. Yeah, well, Freeman, again, it's not exactly similar to Alvarez. He's a different kind of hitter, but Freeman's not a big homers guy. So I feel like he gets less attention because of that, even though Freddie Freeman had 211 hits last year and almost 60 doubles.
Who would you rather face? Yordan Alvarez or Freddie Freeman?
Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah.
But it's close.
Freddie Freeman is just so good.
Here's Alex Bregman, who's also 2 for 2 today. Runners on first and second, 1 out. Bassitt looks at second. The pitch home is sliced back, 0-1. Alvarez is on deck, and again, as it stands right now, they don't have anywhere to put him. So it would be big for Bassitt to try and get a ground ball at 2 outs here against Bregman. 3-3 game, top of the 4th. 1 out. Dubon on second and Altuve on first. Guerrero playing way off the line at first base. Horwitz, the second baseman, up the middle. Right on right. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Chris Bassitt. At the knees. Called strike. 0-2.
Alex Bregman is really good at hitting the elevated fastball. He really chops down and tends to get the barrel to those elevated fastballs. So if I'm Chris Bassitt, I'm throwing something below that strike zone here.
0-2. Does go low of the zone, but Bregman lays off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bregman was 2 for 11 in the first 3 games of this series. Had not made a huge impact, but today 2 for 2 and has a run scored.
Chris Bassitt is about to throw his 80th pitch of the ball game.
He does tend to go the deepest in terms of pitch count of any of the Blue Jays starters, but this obviously concerning with only 1 out in the 4th. 1-2. Swing and a bouncer, foul off to the left. Combine that with the relative struggles of the bullpen over the season and especially recently. And the Blue Jays, they would love to get some quick innings and some quick outs here for Bassitt going forward. Righty set. Looking back at Dubon at second. Now the 1-2 home. Just missed high. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, double play here would be huge. Not only because Yordan Alvarez is sitting in that or standing in that on-deck circle, but Chris Bassitt needs to keep that pitch count down below 85 before this inning ends. Two. Swing and a fly ball right field. Sends Springer back. He makes the catch in front of the track. 2 down. So no ground ball, but he does retire Bregman, and now will face Alvarez with runners on first and second and 2 outs. Let's go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill Out of Town scoreboard as Pete Walker jogs out to the mound to talk about what they want to do against Alvarez. Mentioned the Reds can sweep the Yankees today with a win in New York. Nick Martini hit a second inning home run off of Marcus Stroman to give the Reds a lead. And then Jonathan India, who won National League Player of the Week as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. won American League Player of the Week last week, hits his 6th home run of the season. And it's 2-0 for Cincinnati over New York in the top of the 4th inning in the Bronx. In Miami, still 1-0 Red Sox on the RBI ground out by Rafael Devers in the first. Baltimore will go up against Seattle today at 4:10 Eastern at T-Mobile Park, where the Blue Jays start a 3-game series tomorrow. Do you think they sell the Martini
in
Cincinnati?
If they don't, they should. By the way, with first and second, the Blue Jays have walked Yordan Alvarez intentionally to load the bases but avoid the lefty swinger. And now they'll face Yainer Diaz with the bases loaded. It's unconventional, but they did say this is what they want to do. He has had a lot of success against Bassitt in his career. So now with the bases full, here's the pitch to Yainer Diaz. Swing and a foul back, 0-1.
The only problem I see with that right there is Chris Bassitt has already walked. Well, he's walked 4 now, but he's already walked 3 guys today. So the command really isn't quite there. And then you get a guy like Yainer Diaz, who's still a very good hitter up at the plate.
John Schneider did acknowledge Diaz is very good. He's just not Yordan Alvarez, is what he said before this game. Here's the 0-1. Foul back, 0-2. The good news on the command piece is that Bassitt at least has gotten ahead, 0-2 here.
Well, John Schneider looks like a genius so far, at least up until this point.
He's at least one more pitch away from a verdict being settled, though. It's a 3-3 game right now, top of the 4th inning. Game 4 this series, Blue Jays and Astros. Bases loaded, 2 down. Bassitt kicks and fires. Swing and a pop-up right side foul. Bassitt chasing it. So is Guerrero, the first baseman, who calls for it and makes the catch to end the inning. So the controversial intentional walk works out for Toronto. Bassitt and Alvarez chuckling a bit with each other as they cross walking off the field. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th in a 3-3 game. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikey's accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop-on-the-bandwagon fan. We're the in-it-for-the-long-haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting, because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. He gets Verdugo for his 7th strikeout.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Bottom of the 4th inning in Toronto. Blue Jays trying to split this series against the Houston Astros, and they have the meat of the order coming up, or pardon me, kind of middle back of the order coming up this inning. Spencer Horwitz will lead off for the Blue Jays with Alejandro Kirk and Ernie Clement hitting as well. 3-3 Blue Jays Astros, bottom of the 4th. Framber Valdez has really settled down after giving up 5 hits and 3 runs in the first inning. Walked 1, struck out 3 in a pair of scoreless frames in the 2nd and 3rd. Goes left on left with Horwitz, who singled up the middle, drove in 2 in the first. The pitch. High and tight, ball 1. The 1-0. Down and away. Horwitz wasn't going to start in this game until Bo Bichette was pulled out of the lineup late. We'll go to the injury report just after Horwitz hits. Batting .299 now is the second baseman. 2-0 pitch. Just on the outside corner for strike 1.
And like I mentioned in Horowitz's first at-bat, generally speaking, Valdez is pretty tough on lefties, so you don't want too many lefties in your lineup. But Horwitz versus Valdez, I'll take that matchup.
2-1 is fouled off, 2-2. And for Horwitz, I mean, he hit everyone really well in AAA. His numbers against lefties, not bad for the Bisons. Almost no power, only 2 extra base hits, but he did hit .290 against lefties this season with Buffalo. 2-2. Bounce to the plate. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And then coming into this ball game, he was only 1 for 7 against lefties this season. 143, 305 against righties, but such a small sample size, that doesn't really tell you how good he is against lefties.
Payoff pitch. Swing and a line drive left field. That's another base hit for Horwitz. He rounds first, heads back to the bag. Let's go to the injury report. Brought to you by Bergmanis Pereira Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Pereira Personal Injury Lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Pereira will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca. So I mentioned Bo Bichette removed. That was due to a right forearm contusion. He was hit by a pitch late in yesterday's game. Pitch to Alejandro Kirk. He drives the ball deep center field. Dubon going back, reaches out for the wall, and on the track he makes the catch. 1 out. So we'll see what develops with Bichette there, but for now, out of today's game with a right forearm contusion. Jimmy Garcia threw a second side session off the mound yesterday, threw 21 pitches, and felt good. They're still determining his next steps. John Schneider said they'll figure that out today or tomorrow. Ernie Clement at the plate, 1 out. Horwitz on first. The pitch. Called strike 1.
That's an odd number of pitches.
21. They said 20 to 25 was the goal.
Usually it's 20, 25, 30, 21. That just doesn't sound right to me.
0-1. Swing and a bouncer to third. Picked up there by Bregman. Turns it to second, back over to first. Inning-ending double play. 5-4-3, the Astros turn it. Second inning in a row that a double play erases a leadoff base runner. 1 hit for the Blue Jays. No runs, nobody left in the 4th. We go to the 5th, still 3-3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Tap into exclusive performances from the world-famous Tipitinas. as the biggest names in R&B descend on New Orleans.
Y'all join me in welcoming Tyrese, ladies and gentlemen.
We're taking you to the Big Easy during Essence Festival.
They took this record #1 for me, so give it up for them.
All weekend long, starting tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific, with Kenny Lattimore, Kevin Ross, and more, live in concert. On Heart and Soul, Channel 47, and on the SiriusXM app.
Nobody covers the National Football League like SiriusXM NFL Radio.
Mahomes fires it late for the end zone. Caught! Touchdown!
Stay updated with the latest news leading up to training camps.
We don't care about expectations. Talk doesn't win games.
Our panel of experts is getting you ready for the 2024 season.
The more I watch this guy, the more I like him.
There's a story for every team on SiriusXM NFL Radio, Channel 88 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, original specials, and much, much, much more. All baseball, every day, on your radio. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Fifth inning, Blue Jays 3, Astros 3 at Rogers Center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Chris Bassitt's first pitch outside to John Singleton, 1-0. Bassitt begins the fifth on 85 pitches, just through his 86th. A breath, the wind, and the 1-0. Swing and a soft fly ball, shallow left field. Moving forward, Schneider, he makes the catch, and that's a perfect start and out in 2 pitches for Chris Bassitt.
Yeah, and I think if Chris Bassitt can get through 5 innings, that'll probably be a win. Maybe come out for the 6th, get a couple outs in that inning. But at 86 pitches, 1 out in the 5th, I think 5 innings is sounding like a pretty good thing.
I'd be surprised at least if he saw the top of the order a 4th time. They've really hurt him today. Here's his pitch to Jeremy Pena. Called strike 1. This 5th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Financial Group. As a big fan of small biz, Desjardins awarded another $3 million to entrepreneurs across Canada. See how Desjardins cheered on small biz this year at goodsparkgrants.ca. Just got Pena way out in front of a sweeper, did Bassitt. It's 0-2 with 1 out and the bases empty. 3-3, top of the 5th.
Don't look now, but it's turned into a pitcher's duel. Both starting pitchers giving up 3 earned runs in the first inning.
None since. 0-2. Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pena walked in the first, flied out to left field in the 3rd. Shortstop just brings the bat an inch or 2 off his right shoulder. The 1-2. Called? No, never mind. Just off the plate. Pardon me. That looked a little bit outside. Fastball really close. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, it looked like Ben May, home plate umpire, was going to ring him up. He brought back that right foot. And generally speaking, you'll see umpires get into their motion when they do that, but he didn't.
2-2 is now hit on a line center field. Kiermaier coming in. That's down in front of him for a base hit. Jammed him, but it was muscled out into right center field. And Jeremy Pena is on. Here's Joey Loperfido.
Yeah, and you could see just how frustrated Chris Bassitt was with that base hit. He was hunched over on the mound, couldn't believe it. Kind of waving his right arm like, get out of here.
And that really hurts his chances, you'd think, to pitch further than the 5th. Right on left pitch to Loperfido. High ball 1.
Unless he throws a changeup here and gets a double play, Ben.
It's possible. He struck out Loperfido on a changeup in the 3rd. Left fielder's 0-2. Joey Loperfido actually knows Davis Schneider pretty well. 1-0. Missed outside with the changeup. 2 balls, no strikes. Loperfido, born in Philly, but went to high school in Haddonfield, New Jersey, in South Jersey, right near Davis Schneider. They played against each other as kids. Loperfido went to Duke while Schneider was drafted by the Blue Jays, and they met up before game one. Throw over to first, dive back by Pena to say hey and catch up. Talked to Schneider a bit about South Jersey baseball. Maybe a little bit underrated of a part of the country, especially when you factor Mike Trout into the equation out of South Jersey. 2-0, runner takes off from first, swinging a foul ball. Popped out of the glove of Kirk, and that's probably good for the Blue Jays. Looked like Pena had second. Now he'll have to head back to first.
Well, I mean, South Jersey, the weather is pretty bad in the wintertime, so you can't imagine.
Better than North Jersey.
Well, Jersey is small, so I don't think the weather's very different.
Yeah.
But I've never really thought of it as a hotbed for baseball players.
I mean, it's not. I'm not here saying it's Florida, Texas, or California, but they got some guys that come out of there. Schneider had mentioned that Zach Gallen was pitching around his area, a little bit older than him, so they didn't play high school against each other, but he was one of the big names post-Trout that came out of their area. As it steps off, a little bit of an argument whether that was the third or second disengagement. It was the second.
Would Anthony Volpe be North Jersey?
Yes, I believe so. More New York area is North Jersey, more Philly area is South Jersey. 2-1, Pena takes off again, and it's fouled off again. Jeremy Pena at least pulled up before getting to second this time, but he'll take a tiring walk back to first. He's tried to steal on each of the last two pitches. It's a 2-2 count.
Well, I think that's another good foul ball for the Blue Jays. I think Jeremy Pena had that bag again stolen. Chris Bassitt with the big leg lift, the slow arm.
Dave Clark, first base coach, walked onto the field of play to talk to Pena. Now the 2-2. Runner stays put and the pitch is high. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Pena has 10 stolen bases this year. He's been caught 4 times. Bassitt on the first base side of the hill, walks up to the rubbers, steps on and looks in. He nods, sets near his belt. And the 3-2, Pena takes off, swing, and another foul ball into the seats this time. So Pena has tried 3 times, and he doesn't even get to know if he would have made it or not as he goes back.
Well, guess what? He'll probably try again on this pitch.
Loperfido, meanwhile, battling. He's seen 8 pitches. A 3-2, and again Pena takes off, and again it's hit foul into the seats. He just threw his right arm up in the air. That's 4 times in this at-bat he's tried to steal, and all 4 have been foul balls.
What are the chances he goes again? Pretty high?
I feel like he takes 1 off. Yeah.
Maybe.
Kind of tired, maybe.
He's getting his work in.
Hands on his hips as he takes his lead, moves those hands down to his knees, looks at Bassitt. With 1 out, the 3-2. Pena takes off again, and that one fouled off. And that time, arguably a pretty bad jump for Pena. I actually think he might have got lucky. He's chuckling. That's the 5th time he's tried to steal, and all 5 have been Loperfido foul balls.
Yeah, that one right there was probably his worst jump. If Loperfido swings and misses there, I'm pretty sure he gets thrown out. He's just rolling the dice at this point.
Meanwhile, Bassitt up to 100 pitches after throwing 10 to Loperfido. Here's the 11th. Pena takes off again. It's hit on the ground to second. Horwitz picks it up. His only play is first. And there are 2 down. So it does end up working out for Pena, who prevents a double play by running there. And he's hunched over at second, absolutely gassed. Still doesn't get a stolen base. It is a ground out for Loperfido. 2 down and a runner on second. I mean, at least it wasn't all for nothing.
Well, no, he definitely beat out that double play there.
Yeah.
That would have been an easy double play had he not run on that double play, on that pitch. But he is gassed out at second base.
He, in theory, scores on his single. We'll see if it happens in practice as Mauricio Dubon is up 1 for 2. The pitch. Called strike 1. Genesis Cabrera is throwing in the Blue Jay pen in left field. Next batter is a left-handed hitter, Trey Cabbage. 3-3 ball game. 2 outs, top of the 5th. Bassitt in the set. Looks out, and the pitch. high. You could hear a grunt from Bassitt from up here. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. John Schneider called Bassitt a bulldog, a gamer, an old-fashioned pitcher. Specifically was talking about when he got that liner off him from Aaron Judge in his last start. But Bassitt never wants to come out of games. Tough start to this start, but he settled down. 1-1 is lined up the middle, down for a base hit. Pena getting the wave around third. Here comes the throw from Kiermaier. It skips in late. Throw to second as Dubon takes off for second, and he is safe. A run in to score, 4-3 Houston. Dubon up to second. The Blue Jays, though, are at least going to inspect the video here to see if they want to challenge. Won't change the result of the run, but could end the inning.
Yeah, Jimenez put that tag down on Dubon, and he kind of tilted his head, was unsure if he got him or not, staring in that Blue Jays dugout, waiting for Gil Kim, John Schneider to make a call, and they're not going to review that.
So a run comes in. An RBI single by Dubon, who's on second base. Here's Trey Cabbage. And that's going to be the last pitch of the day for Chris Bassitt. Struggled in the first, had mostly settled it down until 2 hits here in the fifth. Score another run and give the Astros the lead. Maybe they don't take him out, actually. Schneider is talking with Bassitt out on the mound. Has not made a signal yet. Bassitt, head looking down, talking to the Blue Jay manager.
So I thought the same thing. John Schneider came out of that dugout. They're going to leave him in this ballgame, but John Schneider came out of that dugout and then started jogging towards Chris Bassitt. As soon as he started jogging, I thought to myself, wait a minute. He might not be coming out of this ballgame. That is a weird thing to see if you're taking a guy out of a ballgame.
He's said in the past, Schneider, if you see him jogging, there's a chance the guy stays in. If he's walking, the guy's coming out 9 times out of 10. So Bassitt remains in, pardon me. And he will try to get through 5 here. He's going to face the 9-hitter Trey Cabbage, who is 0 for 2 against Bassitt today. A strikeout and a flyout. Dubon on second. 4-3 Astros, top of the fifth. The pitch from Bassitt. Swinging a bouncing ball hit to second. Fielded on the forehand side by Horwitz. Twists his body, throws to first, and ends the inning. Astros take the lead. An RBI single by Mauricio Dubon makes it 4-3 for Houston, middle of the fifth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The battle for European soccer supremacy has reached the knockout stage, and all the drama of the Euros is on Sirius XM.
Oh my goodness, what a story!
Every match is now win or go home, and they can all be heard on Fox Sports Channel 83.
That is sensational!
Before and after the matches, hear what the experts are saying on Sirius XM FC 157.
They are proven winners right now.
No one is covering Euro 2024 like Sirius XM. Listen in the car or on the all-new Sirius XM app.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball. You love yelling at your buddies about baseball because they love baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, and much, much, much more. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Hello, Blue Jay fans. I'm Craig Ballard, host of your daily Locked On Blue Jays podcast. Locked On Blue Jays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On Blue Jays brings you the latest Blue Jays news and analysis and breaks down all of the action. Locked On Blue Jays is everything a Blue Jays fan could want, all in a 30-minute daily podcast. Download Locked On Blue Jays right now on the SXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or wherever you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Blue Jays.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Leo Jimenez leads off the bottom of the fifth inning. Rookie in his major league debut comes up with the Blue Jays, trailing the Astros 4-3 at Rogers Center. Framber Valdez in the wind, his pitch. Jimenez takes it, called strike one. Blue Jays number 5 prospect in the system per MLB.com. The 0-1. Bounce to the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Jimenez called up in the corresponding move when Isaiah Kiner-Falefa hit the injured list with a left knee sprain. The 1-1. Check swing. Pitch was low. Appeal to first. He did not go round. 2-1. Pretty cool when Jimenez got called up. He was in Buffalo, and just coincidentally, his family was visiting him in Buffalo. Jimenez hails from Panama. The 2-1. Swing and a chopper foul. 2-2.
You ever been to Panama?
I have not. You have?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool place. I went down there with the Yankees during spring training in 2014. We played the Marlins down there. It was like the Mariano Rivera. I don't know why it was had something to do with Mariano Rivera, but we got to do everything. Obviously, first class. We were with Derek Jeter and Mariano.
2-2 is chopped foul down the third baseline. Rivera, along with Rod Carew, the most decorated Panamanians in Major League history. You also have guys like Ben Ogilvy, who played in the 70s and 80s. Carlos Lee, who played in the 2000s. But Jimenez becomes the 81st Panamanian in Major League history. 2-2. High. Good take there on 98. Full count.
I actually got the save. We played 2 games down there, and I got the save in the second game against the Marlins, and I got the game ball, and then I got Mariano to sign it. That's one of my coveted baseball signatures.
3-2 in the dirt ball for Jimenez on board for the first time in his Major League career. He takes a walk. That's pretty cool.
If you go back to 2021, Leo Jimenez had a .523 on base percentage. Smaller sample size, only 181 ABs, but he's a guy that gets on base.
He's got some speed too. Takes his lead off first. Here's the pitch to Kevin Kiermaier, who squares to bunt, pulls it back. Outside, ball 1. Astros are all over that. Alex Bregman was already playing on the turf, and he will remain on the turf before the second pitch. First baseman Singleton holds on Leo Jimenez at first. And the pitch, Kiermaier squares again pulls back. It's 2-0. Jimenez getting some words from first base coach Mark Budzinski. Takes his lead, staring out at Valdez. Kiermaier squares on the 2-0. It's low, 3-0. And Valdez has not hit the zone here with a pitch to Kiermaier trying to bunt.
I would imagine that Kiermaier is going to square right here and then pull back. He obviously wants to see if Valdez is going to throw another ball here, but I do not think he will offer at this ball.
3-0 count. Kiermaier just stands there and takes strike 1.
Surprising. I thought that at least he would square around, maybe mess with Valdez a little bit, but just stood there with the bat on his shoulder.
Signs from Carlos Fablis, the third base coach. 3-1 pitch. Kiermaier squares again, puts it down, over to third. Bregman fields, throws to second for the out. So that will not be a successful sacrifice. It's a fielder's choice. Bregman was in. Looked like Kiermaier tried to bunt kind of in between the third baseman and the pitcher, but Bregman, a very sure-handed third baseman, cut it off and threw down to second.
Yeah, it wasn't a terrible bunt right there, but Bregman was way in on the left side of that infield and made an easy play throwing across his body to second base.
So top of the order now for the Blue Jays. George Springer up, runner on first, 1 out. 4-3 Astros, the pitch. Inside, ball 1. Springer, a veteran of 7 years with the Houston Astros, played almost 800 games for Houston and came up with 832 hits and 174 homers. 1-0 in the dirt, 2-0. 2017 World Series MVP, and Springer now in his 4th season with the Blue Jays. Valdez set, the 2-0. Springer swings and bounces it softly to third. Charging in Bregman, bare hands, throws over to first, and he called him out. I don't know. C.B. Buckner called him out, but I think the Blue Jays are going to challenge that. That did not look like the right call, at least to the naked eye.
Yeah, I mean, you could hear the crowd. The crowd was booing. Obviously, we don't always agree with them, but Blue Jays are going to have a look here.
The Blue Jays have made the signal. John Schneider with the earmuff signal. It was a great play by Bregman, no doubt. Charging in, threw on at first. He's safe by a mile.
Yeah,
you look at the slow-mo replay.
That'll be a quick change. He's safe by about a half a step. A pretty easy call.
C.B. Buckner, who made the call, is walking across the diamond to go beside Dan Iasonia, the crew chief. Usually we say the crowd cheers. They're always going to cheer. But this time, it's blatantly obvious. This should take 15 seconds. There you go. Call on the field is overturned. It'll be a second hit of the day for Springer. And first and second for the Blue Jays with only one out, down 4-3, bottom 5.
Yeah, and Springer standing on first base with a huge smile on his face. I think he'll very happily take that changed call.
So the hits keep on coming for Springer. He's leading off first. Kiermaier walks off second base. And Danny Jansen is at the plate. 1 for 1 today, a single and a walk, a run scored. Valdez's pitch. Down and in, ball 1. A look at second at Kiermaier. Here's the 1-0. Down and in, nearly hit the back foot of Jano. 2 balls and no strikes. Carlos Fabulous delivers some quick signs. He is close to home plate, the third base coach, in case he needs to look to the outfield and direct a runner coming around the third base bag. 2-0 pitch. Swing and a chopper, hits softly down the third baseline, stays fair. Bregman fields, steps on third for 1, throws over to first. Inning-ending double play. 5-3, Bregman turns it. He makes 2 very strong plays in this inning and bails out Valdez after allowing 2 to reach with only 1 out. We're through 5. It's 4-3 for Houston over Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
So, you want to be a loony dogger, eh? Are you the relish ringleader, 7th inning snacker, TikTok topper, or ketchup king? Every Tuesday, Blue Jays home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. You'll have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around Rogers Center. Then show the world your Looney Dog style. Because whether you're the home run hound or value virtuoso, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. So don't miss out on this delicious deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
I am by your side. Got a heart so big, on this you can rely. No mountains too tall for the strong boots to climb. I am by your side.
That was Desjardins Insurance, playing insurance with a heart so big it shows. Tune in for your auto and home coverage at desjardins.com/heart.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. He keeps this game tied
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's the 6th inning, brought to you by Desjardins Financial Group. Desjardins awarded another 150 grants worth $20,000 each to entrepreneurs across Canada. See how Desjardins cheered on small biz at goodsparkgrants.ca. Top of the 6th, 4-3 Astros. New pitcher into the game for the Blue Jays is the lefty Yenesis Cabrera. He's making his 35th appearance of the season. Pitches to Jose Altuve. Fastball high, 1-0. 418 earned run average for the lefty, who's got a hard fastball, a cutter, a curve, and a changeup. Breaking ball drops over the plate, strike 1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, Yordan Alvarez to hit this inning. 1-1. Swing and a bouncer foul, 1-2.
If Jose Altuve retired today, is he a Hall of Famer?
Now, we discussed this. Did we discuss it on air? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to know what voters will think of everything that happened in 2017.
Right. But I think that was off air. We were talking about that.
But aside from that, I would think so. I mean, pretty close, if not already. But by the end of his career, he will at least have the numbers to be a Hall of Famer. 1-2. Swing and a foul tip. Strike 3. Altuve goes down for the first out of the inning. First time he's been retired today.
Not a great pitch right there from Cabrera, but you just never know what Jose Altuve is going to swing through. It's just that was an elevated slider? Curve? Most guys just lay off that pitch, but Jose Altuve swings right through it.
So he's retired for the first time. Here's Alex Bregman, the pitch. High ball 1. Let's go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. In Miami, the Red Sox up 2-0 on the Marlins in the 7th, but more important news on the pitching side. First is set from Cabrera. And the 1-0. Called strike. Canadian Nick Pivetta has pitched 6 no-hit innings against the Marlins. Is about to take the ball in the bottom of the 7th. He has walked 2 and struck out 9, 77 pitches through 6 innings.
That was going to be my first question. How many pitches has he thrown?
1-1. Low, 2-1.
So you said that's through 6?
Through 6, 77 pitches.
Oh, that's going to be tough.
It would help if the Red Sox added on a little bit. We'll see. 4-3 Houston, top of the 6th here in Toronto. And the 2-1. Outside ball 3. On the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard in the Bronx, the homer parade continues for Cincinnati. A 3-run shot from Spencer Steer. At that point, made it 5-0 Reds. 3-1 pitch, fastball at the top of the zone, full count. Bregman was undoing his shin guard. And Espada still barking at Ben May. Ben May said, that's it, putting his palm out to the Houston dugout. I think the next word from Espada might be his last.
Yeah, he's pretty animated over there. And generally speaking, the more animated you are, the greater the chance that you get tossed. Ben May's having no more of this. You can see him taking his mask off, telling Joe Espada that's enough.
3-2. Fouled back. So in the Bronx on the out-of-town scoreboard, Spencer Steer hits a 3-run homer. It's 5-0. Then Austin Wells homers for the Yankees. 5-1. The Reds lead the Yankees in the bottom of the 5th. Yoenis Cabrera adjusts his cap, tucks the ball into his glove, chest high. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. Out in front on the cutter, 2 down, back-to-back Ks for the lefty. He's struck out both righties that he's faced so far, and truly I think the reason he came into this game is not for those 2 matchups, but this one right now. Left on left with Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah, this is the big one right here.
Alvarez 0 for 1, 2 walks today, 1 intentional. The pitch. Just off the plate inside, 1-0. Alvarez has homered in 3 straight games for the first time this season. Sitting on 19 on the year, tied with Kyle Tucker. 1-0. Down and away. Camp kids starting a Let's Go Blue Jays chant from the 500 level. Camp day here at Rogers Center. 2-0. Swinging a foul tip, 96 on the outside edge. Doesn't get much better than that for Cabrera, 2-1.
I actually like that he challenged him right there with a fastball. I can only assume that Yordan Alvarez was expecting something soft there. There's nobody on base. They have 2 outs. The Blue Jays have shown that they don't really want anything to do with him. And then Cabrera just blows that 96-mile-an-hour fastball right by him.
2-1. Check swing, cutter down and away. No swing. Cabrera wants an appeal down to third. I don't think he went anyway. It's 3 balls and 1 strike.
I think everybody was ignoring him.
Yeah, I think Kirk had to run out to get the ball, and because it bounced in front of the plate, maybe he was like, we'll save it. We'll save it for another one. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. 4-3 Astros over Blue Jays, top of the 6th. Cabrera rears back and fires. And he hit him right on the hip with 97. Alvarez staring out at Cabrera, who taps his chest to apologize. Kirk is talking to Alvarez, too. I mean, it would not even remotely be the situation that you would ever hit someone intentionally, but you do understand Alvarez not being happy with being hit by 97.
Yeah, I think that got him in the meat on the backside, but Yordan Alvarez staring out at Genesis Cabrera. Genesis Cabrera hitting his chest, saying, "My bad, didn't mean to." That's a scary situation when you have a guy like Alvarez staring at you like that. No thanks.
So Alvarez takes the walk down to first. He's all right. Talking with Guerrero. Here's Yainer Diaz. Someone came out of the Astros dugout, by the way, but walked back in. Pitch to Diaz. Swing and a miss. Strike 1.
Seems like someone who's just bored in that dugout.
Yeah, I mean, when you hit a guy intentionally, you don't do it in this close of a game. You don't do it, especially in a 3-1 count. You nail him on the first pitch.
And a guy like Cabrera wouldn't say "my bad" if he actually meant to.
The 0-1. Swing and a bouncing ball to third. Picked up by Clement. He'll go the short way to second. And it's a fielder's choice for Yainer Diaz to end the inning. Cabrera pitches a scoreless 6th. Blue Jays try to get back with a tie, or maybe even take the lead in the bottom half. Vladimir Guerrero leads off next. 4-3 Astros. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
All we need is somebody to lean on.
Light up your 4th of July with all new Star Spangled music specials on the SiriusXM app. From all-American country hits, hip-hop mixes, and classic rock roundups to sun-soaked summer countdowns, poolside party starters, and more.
Is it that sweet? I guess so.
Set it off anytime. Just search 4th of July soundtracks on the SiriusXM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game.
While you're listening to this game on SiriusXM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's -125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, SiriusXM, Channel 159.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Welcome back to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Bottom of the 6th inning, 4-3. The Astros lead the Blue Jays at Rogers Center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Davis Schneider, and Spencer Horwitz will hit for the Blue Jays this inning. Framber Valdez still on the mound for Houston after 3 runs allowed in the first. He has only given up 2 hits and 2 walks, no runs since. Lefty steps onto the third base side of the rubber. Guerrero in the righty box. Valdez stretches out his arms, comes set, and into the wind. Here's the pitch. Bounce to the plate, 1-0. By the way, if you're with us last inning, to go back to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard, the no-hit bid is over for Nick Pivetta with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Jesus Sanchez of the Marlins tripled off the wall in center field. 1-0. called strike at the knees, 1-1. So the Canadian Pivetta will not pick up a no-hitter today, but still a really impressive start. 2 outs in the 7th, has only given up 1 hit, no runs so far. Next pitch to Guerrero is lined to right field, a base hit. For Vlad, his first hit of the day, and he adds to his season-high hit streak, now 10 games in a row.
Such a good piece of hitting right there. We talked about this earlier on in the ball game, but the Astros are leaving that right side of the infield completely open. Jose Altuve is shaded towards second, and we talked about the fact that Vlad has shot that hole quite a bit, and he does so right there with authority.
So Guerrero on to lead off the inning. Here's the pitch to Davis Schneider. Swinging a liner left field. That's another hit. It's a 2-hit day for Davis Schneider, who jumps on the first pitch, and runners on first and second for the Blue Jays, trailing by 1 here in the bottom of the 6th.
Well, this is starting to look a lot like the first inning. 2 balls hit hard by the Toronto Blue Jays to start this inning.
And really, who better to have up today than Spencer Horwitz now? Even though it's the left-on-left matchup, Horwitz is 2 for 2. Had a 2-run single in the first and a single to left field in the 4th.
Yeah, it's not a bad matchup. Historically, you would think it would be, but Spencer Horwitz is so good at going the other way. He's so good at taking tough pitches. I like this matchup right here. I said it before the game, and I'm saying it again. I like this matchup.
Valdez in his career has been incredibly tough on lefties, although he's barely faced them this year, and they've actually come up with a batting average over 300. Horwitz has certainly helped that with 2 hits today, and after a short meeting on the mound from catcher Yainer Diaz, Horwitz steps into the box. 4-3 Houston. Guerrero on second, Schneider on first. Corners are pinched in case of a sacrifice bunt. Valdez kicks and delivers to Horwitz. Swinging a liner just foul down the right field line. That missed the first base bag by maybe 5 inches. Strike 1. Horwitz batting .309 after the 2 hits. He's driven in 9 runs this year. First baseman Singleton moves back. Bregman's still in at third. The 0-1. Takes the pitch, down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And you still have to remember that there's nobody out. So number one thing that's going through Spencer Horwitz's mind right now is move both of those runners up to scoring position. Secondary is getting a base hit here.
Left on left, here's the 1-1. Swing and a fly ball. Deep right field. Cabbage under it, just in front of the track. Makes the catch. Guerrero will tag from second. He's up to third base. Horwitz does advance Vlad. Schneider remains at first. It's runners on the corners and 1 out after the flyout.
I'll take that. That wasn't a base hit, but he did his job. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. moving up 90 feet. Now was in scoring position, but now at third base with still only 1 out.
And Alejandro Kirk coming to the plate, who hit an RBI double in the first to score the most recent Blue Jays run. Also flied out to center in the 4th. Either of those results would help the Blue Jays tie the game. 4-3 Houston. Runners on the corners. 1 out, the pitch. Kirk takes in the dirt. Valdez north of 80 pitches. Action in the Houston bullpen right now. Lefties 1-0. Swinging a fly ball into the seats down the right field line, foul. Righty Seth Martinez is loosening up for Houston. Kirk taps the far corner of the plate and looks out at the lefty pitcher. 1-1. Schneider takes off from first, and the pitch is chopped foul to third. 1-2. Davis Schneider is not a huge base stealer. I wonder if the Blue Jays there were thinking about maybe sending Vladimir Guerrero from third if they threw down to second.
It actually looked like Davis Schneider got a pretty good jump right there. I don't know if he would have had that bag, but it would have been pretty close at second base.
He is 3 for 3 this year stealing bases. 1-2. Check swing, pitch in the dirt, appeal down to first. And I don't think Ben May granted the appeal, which rarely happens, but is allowed. You don't actually have to go down to the umpire there if you are certain at the plate. I didn't see a signal from CB Buckner. It's 2-2.
Probably looked at Yainer Diaz and was like, come on, man.
I mean, he didn't go around.
Get real.
Time asked for at the plate by Kirk. Valdez flips the ball out of his bare hand. He's a little unhappy because he was looking at first, so by the time he turned back to the plate, his knee was already up. But they grant Kirk the late time there, and it's still 2-2. Valdez remains on the rubber. Now comes set at the belt. Kirk in the box. First and third, one out. The 2-2. Swing and a foul off. Kirk just got a piece of that changeup right at the knees, and he remains at the plate. Guerrero on third, Schneider on first. Both came up with singles to start this inning. One out, 4-3, Houston leads. Bottom of the sixth. The 2-2 again. Swing and a little number in front of the plate, picked up by the catcher Diaz. He will throw down to first. Up to second base is Schneider, but Guerrero had to remain at third on that swinging bunt. And now second and third, 2 outs.
Not the end of the world there. Alejandro Kirk moves up Davis Schneider to second base, but now you need Ernie Clement to come through in the clutch with 2 outs and 2 runners in scoring position. This is a big turning point in this game right here.
Clement taps the middle of the plate and looks out at Valdez. Ernie today is 0 for 2. Left on right pitch from Framber Valdez. Inside, ball 1. Ernie came up with second and third in the first and lined a ball to third base that was caught by Bregman. He tagged the runner, Horwitz, for a double play. 1-0. Low, 2 balls and no strikes. Valdez staring in, kicks, fires, and Clement takes fastball middle in for strike 1. Seth Martinez is ready to go in right field for the Astros. He's basically stopped throwing. Trevor Richards is up for the Blue Jays in left. The 2-1 pitch. Swinging a liner, speared on one bounce by Bregman. Gets up, throws to first, and ends the inning. The Blue Jays start the 6th with a pair of hits, but they do not score and leave both Schneider and Guerrero on. We go to the 7th. It's 4-3 for the Astros. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
We're 2menintruck.ca. We've got lots of men and lots of trucks, so get ready to be moved.
Think 2 men in a truck, 2 men in a truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2 men in a truck, 2 men in a truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2 men in a truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's building center. Visit timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Blue Jays up 3-2 on a wacky play to give Toronto the lead.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The seventh inning is brought to you by Desjardins Financial Group. Desjardins is a big fan of small biz. That's why they awarded another $3 million to small business owners across the country. See how Desjardins cheered on small biz this year at goodsparkgrants.ca. Welcome back to Rogers Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Genesis Cabrera remains on for the Blue Jays here, second inning of work, but instead of starting off in a left-on-left matchup with John Singleton, the Astros pinch hit. Jake Myers is up to the plate batting right. 4-3 Houston, first pitch, high, ball one. Myers batting just under .250 this year, 8 homers in 77 games. 1-0. Swing and a pop-up left side of the infield. Ernie Clements onto the turf. He'll call off the pitcher, Cabrera, and make a two-handed squeeze, 1 out. Genesis Cabrera's had to face a lot of righties, and righties have hit over 300 against him this year, but he's looked good today.
Yeah, he's looked really good. The biggest thing with Genesis Cabrera is just throw strike one. And when he can do that, he can mix in his other pitches. He's got elite stuff.
Cabrera records 4 outs in 5 batters faced. John Schneider walking out to the mound, 2 claps, and he will take the ball and pat the lefty on the bag. 1 out, top of the 7th, 4-3 Houston. Trevor Richards about to enter the game. Let's go back to baseball control. Here's today's host, Show Ali.
Thank you very much, guys. Before we check the out-of-town scoreboard, a reminder that Blair and Barker have Jays talk once this game is over. Jeff and Kevin will throw out the numbers for you to call once this game is in the books. All right, let's check that out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Because it's the 4th of July, for our American friends south of the border, it also means that it's the one day of the year I can update you on this. The Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest is happening on Coney Island. No Joey Chestnut, who is not attending the event due to a sponsorship tiff. He had won the 16 of the previous 17 contests. Patrick Bertoletti finishing with 58 hot dogs eaten to win this year's men's competition. Miki Sudo shattering the women's record with 51 hot dogs eaten. Some NBA news from the Warriors with Klay Thompson off the Dallas. Golden State acquiring Buddy Hield from the Sixers via sign and trade. Warriors are sending a 2031 Dallas second-round pick to complete the sign and trade. And now new teammates Hield and Steph Curry will be teammates after being the leaders for most made threes over the last 5 NBA seasons. And the Raptors signing some of their rookies to new deals, including second-rounder Jonathan Mogbo. He was a 31st pick of the draft. He gets a 3-year deal worth $6.11 million. It's the max amount allowed under these new second-round exemption rules for the cap heads out there. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back down to the Rogers Center. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. The righty Trevor Richards is on the mound. 1 out, 4-3. The Astros lead the Blue Jays, top of the 7th inning. Richards making his 38th appearance of the year, has been one of the best relievers for the Blue Jays this year. In over 44 innings, he struck out 41, walked only 16, and has posted a 2.44 earned run average. He starts off with the bases empty, again 1 out, and here's Jeremy Pena. Richards sets the pitch. Change up on the inside edge, strike 1. Fastball changeup exclusively for the righty. Here's his 0-1. It's a fastball down and away.
Yeah, Trevor Richards hit a little bit of a speed bump in April, a 4.76 ERA, but since then, as soon as May hit, 2.57 in May, and then a 1.23 in June.
1-1 pitch is hit high, deep to left field. If it's fair, it's gone, and that ball is out of here. Jeremy Pena hits his 7th home run of the season, his 4th against the Blue Jays this year, and it's 5-3 for the Astros.
Well, I think the biggest thing with Trevor Richards and the reason for his success is he's getting on top of that changeup, and it's almost like a split finger action on that changeup. That one right there, he gets underneath, and it kind of floated in there, and Jeremy Pena was able to get the barrel to it. You just haven't seen that many changeups like that from Trevor Richards recently. Just those floating changeups, very hittable right there.
So a solo shot extends the Houston advantage. Here's Joey Loperfido, and he swings and hits the first pitch foul, 0-1. Blue Jays had a big chance to tie up this game in the bottom of the 6th. 2 hits to start the inning, but did not score, and now they're down by 2. The 0-1 on the inside edge, 1-1. This is game 4 of this series against Houston. Blue Jays split the 4-game set against the Yankees. If they win today, they'd split against the Astros. 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. John Schneider has said recently a couple times they're not looking for splits, although I think for those on the outside looking in, it wouldn't be the worst results in the world if they split both. But now that's in a little bit more jeopardy here as Houston has a chance to win this game. They're up 5-3. One-two pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him on a change in the dirt. Loperfido will accept the tag and walk back to the dugout. 2 down.
And it's even harder for the Blue Jays to come back from that 2-run deficit because of the bullpen, at least the back end of the bullpen that the Astros have. They have Ryan Presley, Brian Abreu, Josh Hader. Tough, high leverage guys sitting down there.
See who Houston goes to in the 7th. I think probably Framber Valdez is done as Dubon hits the first pitch out of play foul, 0-1. Valdez on 90 pitches, so he could go back out there, but kind of performed a tightrope act to get out of the 6th inning, and Houston is trying to steal a divisional lead back from Seattle. They're only 2 games back of the Mariners. 0-1. Swinging a fly ball again down the right field line, again slicing out of play, 0-2.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this a couple times this series, but the Astros are only 2 games above 500, but they are much better than that. This team, we talked to Joe Espada before the series. He said it was almost inevitable that this team would be better than what they were playing early on, and they're really showing that.
Dealt with some injuries early on, some uncharacteristic performance. 0-2. Fastball just outside. And they have benefited, frankly, from, last year it's all about the Central. The Central isn't great. This year the West has not been a very good division. Houston just got over 500. Other than Seattle, they're the only above 500 team in that division. 1-2 outside, check swing, appeal down to first. He went around, says C.B. Buckner. So Dubon strikes out, and that will end the top of the 7th. Astros, though, add to their lead. A solo shot by Pena, his 4th against Toronto alone this year. And it's 5-3 Houston at the 7th inning stretch. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza, and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop-on-the-bandwagon fan. We're the in-it-for-the-long-haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
This is the best I've ever seen.
The competition's heating up on America's Got Talent.
Yeah!
Heart-pumping performances.
This season, everything is 10 times better.
And must-see moments.
You absolutely nailed it.
It was incredible.
The word is epic.
With $1 million dream on the line.
You've got a real shot at winning after that.
America's Got Talent. All new Tuesdays, 8/7 Central on City TV. Or stream it on City TV Plus.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Springer started right, coming in, leaps and makes the catch full stretch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 7th inning in Toronto. The Astros leading the Blue Jays 5-3. Welcome back to Rogers Center. A couple of switches here as we start the home half of the 7th. First on the mound, it's the first reliever for Houston today, Taylor Scott, who pitches to pinch hitter Dalton Varsho, a swing and a miss. 0-1. Varsho enters the game for Leo Jimenez, who ends his major league debut with a walk and a strikeout. Right on left pitch. Outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Second straight day the Blue Jays see Taylor Scott, and yesterday Varsho hit an RBI single off Scott in the lone batter the righty faced. 1-0. 1-1 outside, 2-1. Next pitch, inside, 3 balls, 1 strike. The South African Scott kicks and fires and misses high and outside, ball 4. Varsho aboard to start the inning. Other switch coming into this inning is that Jake Myers had pinch hit in the top of the 7th for first baseman John Singleton. So Myers moves into center field. Singleton is out, and Mauricio Dubon, the super utility man, will move from center to first base.
I need to see him on the mound at some point in this series. He's played everywhere.
First pitch to pinch hitter Addison Barger. Outside 1-0. Barger is into the game now for Kevin Kiermaier. But yeah, Dubon has played started at 7 positions this year. One of only 2 guys to do that in Major League Baseball in 2024. Gabriel Arias, the other. Varsho takes off on the 1-0, pitches a strike. Throw down to second by Diaz. Not in time. Dalton Varsho steals second base. He almost slid through the bag. Had his right hand just holding onto it as he slid past it toward left center field. But for Varsho, his 9th stolen base of the season ties the team lead.
Yeah, he got a great jump there. Very clearly got that right foot in.
Astros.
Yeah, there you go.
They don't think so, though.
Nah, he's safe. They probably just think that he came off the bag after he slid through. Looked to me like he kept his right arm on, or right hand.
Varsho slid over the bag, too. But is there a point where his whole body comes off? It might have. I think he might be out.
Yeah, seeing that slow motion replay, he definitely came off the bag. I would be surprised if this call stayed the way it is right now. Yeah, you can see that Pena keeps his glove on Varsho as his whole body comes off the bag.
Dan Iasonia, the crew chief right now, talking with Adam Beck, the second base ump. They're waiting for the ruling from New York. Call on the field is safe. If they leave it that way, then it'd be a runner on second and nobody out. But if they overturn it, 1 out and nobody on. That runner out on first, potentially on second, is not the tying run for the Blue Jays. That's actually the batter, Addison Barger.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is out. Houston retains their challenge.
It's a good challenge by the Astros. Dalton Varsho came off the base, so he is caught stealing for the second time this year. And that erases the leadoff walk. 1 out now, still 5-3 Houston, bottom of the 7th. Addison Barger facing a 1-1 count.
That's a tough break for the Blue Jays just because he had that base stolen.
Smart move by Pena. First pitch since the review is fouled off by Barger. It's 1-2. Let's go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. Looks like Boston is trying to fend off a late rally from Miami. 1-2. Low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Still a 2-0 lead for the Red Sox over the Marlins, but 2 on for the Marlins with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Nick Pivetta is now out of the ballgame. Canadian went 7 shutout innings. 2-2 to Barger, ripped on and missed. Strike 3, 2 down.
Nick Pivetta is from BC, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
2 outs now, top of the order. Here's George Springer after that check on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. Former Astro tries to start a 2-out rally. 2 hits today in 3 tries. The pitch from Scott. Called strike 1. South African sidearmer has been one of the best relievers quietly in baseball this year. This is his 40th appearance. 1.5 ERA. 0-1 pitch foul back. 0-2.
He's got pretty good velo on that fastball, even though he throws kind of that short arm side, low 3/4 arm slot. That last fastball is 94.
Tall righty sets at the belt, kicks and delivers, and Springer swings and misses. Strike 3. After the leadoff walk, a caught stealing and 2 strikeouts, and we will go to the 8th inning with Houston maintaining a 5-3 lead. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
With 2024 training camps around the corner, SiriusXM NFL Radio looks back at the best moments from last season.
To Brandon Ayuk, it's the floated.
Join host Alex Marvez as he brings you the top plays of 2023, the spectacular efforts, the game-winning plays, and the reaction from the voices that called the action.
How about that crazy play?
Catch NFL Radio's top plays of 2023 anytime on the all-new SiriusXM app.
If you love golf, then you should never turn off SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio. Our hosts have the best takes.
Tiger's impact on the game of golf, aside from how good he was at it, was something that I don't think we'll ever see again.
Talk to the biggest guests.
Scotty, you've had a year to celebrate.
This year, I've just seen a lot of good results.
And can even help you with your own game.
Take the club and at address, open it up.
It's all golf, all the time. On SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
The battle for European soccer supremacy has reached the knockout stage, and all the drama of the Euros is on SiriusXM.
Oh my goodness, what a story!
Every match is now win or go home, and they can all be heard on Fox Sports Channel 83.
That is sensational!
Before and after the matches, hear what the experts are saying on SiriusXM FC 157.
They are proven winners right now.
No one is covering Euro 2024 like SiriusXM. Listen in the car or on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Scotty Scheffler is the Masters champion.
The biggest events in golf are on PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
8th inning in Toronto. 5-3, the Astros lead the Blue Jays. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Trevor Richards remains on for his 2nd inning of work, and the righty deals to lefty swinger Trey Cabbage, who demolishes the first pitch foul. Hits it halfway up the CN Tower and into the 500 level down the right field line. 0-1.
That was about 25 rows up in that 500 level. Rarely see that.
Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Good changeup by Richards. Started over the plate, dropped to the ankles, and it bounces as Cabbage swings over it. 0-2.
That's the pitch right there that he wanted to throw to Jeremy Pena, but he left it up.
Pena homered last inning to make it 5-3. 0-2. Check swing, and he went around on a pitch that bounced in front of the plate. Kirk picks it up on the foul side of the line, throws down to first. And that's a 3rd strikeout in a row now for Richards. When you're getting guys on pitches in front of the plate bouncing, you're probably pretty nasty. So 1 out. Bases empty, top of the order up. A lot of defensive changes, by the way, for the Blue Jays, with pinch hitters Dalton Varsho and Addison Barger entering in the 7th for Leo Jimenez and Kevin Kiermaier. Varsho moves into center where Kiermaier was. Barger will play 3rd, and Ernie Clement will slide to short where Jimenez was. First pitch to Jose Altuve is a fastball, strike 1. For Ernie, it's his 6th appearance of the season at shortstop. First time he's been there since the Dodgers series here in Toronto on April 26th. 0-1. Just outside. Clemento, prior to being a major leaguer, actually manned a lot of the short at Buffalo, while Leo Jimenez was still at New Hampshire. 1-1. Just high and outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Jose Altuve with another big day. 2 hits. A run scored, a walk. He did strike out last inning. Next pitch fouled off, 2-2, or rather last at bat. Struck out in the 6th.
Counts 2-2. Jose Altuve's at the plate. This is a count where you can essentially throw any pitch you want. What are you throwing right here?
Well, he's only got two options. I'm going to go with the changeup.
I'm going elevated heater.
All right, let's see. 2-2. Went with fastball that wasn't high, although I think they meant to go elevated heater, so I'll give you the point. Yeah, that was kind of a down and away fastball at 94. (5-3) Houston, 1 out, bases empty, top of the 8th. Altuve steps back into the box. Richards pitch, cut on and miss, strike 3. Gets him on a change. And after the homer, Richards has struck out all 4 he's faced.
Well, he's found something with that release point. Like we talked about, the changeup to Jeremy Pena, it was kind of a floater, and now he's really getting on top of it. That last changeup was really nasty, getting Jose Altuve way out in front.
So 2 down, still the bases empty, and here comes Alex Bregman. Richards kicks, steals, and Bregman hits it in the air, center field. Varsho racing to right center, slows up, makes the catch, ends the inning. A quick 1-2-3, top of the 8th. We go to the bottom half, where the Blue Jays will have Danny Jansen, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Davis Schneider batting in a 5-3 game in favor of the Astros. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! The one that's listening to the Blue Jays baseball game with us. Please check and see if you've subscribed. If you haven't yet, please help us. Let's make this sub counter go crazy. Make this sub counter go up, and let's bring more people into this awesome Toronto sports community. Thanks for being here during this Blue Jays game. If you're a Blue Jays fan, we're gonna pick it. We're gonna pick it up. We're gonna turn it around this season. Let's go Blue Jays, and everybody else that's here, welcome. Good luck to your team, but God, our Jays need some wins. Back to the baseball. Cheers, everybody.
Insurance. Playing insurance with a heart so big it shows. Tune in for your auto and home coverage at desjardins.com/heart.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
That ball is gone. 3rd home run in 4 batters for the Blue Jays.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Home half of the 8th inning in Toronto. Blue Jays trailing the Astros 5-3. And if the Blue Jays are going to come back, this feels like the inning to do it. Danny Jansen, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Davis Schneider scheduled to hit. The former Astros closer, Ryan Presley, pitches now in the 8th inning as he's been converted to a setup role this season.
It's an embarrassment of riches at the end of that bullpen. Hader and Presley, both 2 really good guys.
Righty deals to Jansen. Called strike 1. Presley was one of the top closers in the game over the last couple of years, but the Astros shocked everyone and went out and acquired Hader. 0-1. Down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Features a mid-90s fastball with a slider, a curve, a changeup, and very occasionally will snap off a sinker as well. Righty from the first base side. Rocks back, fires. And Jansen chops it to 3rd, backing up Bregman, who gloves it, spins, throws to first high, but Dubon keeps his foot on the bag and stretches up to reel it in. 1 out.
Do you think the Astros went out and got Hader without talking to Presley first, or they just went out and did it, and then we'll see how he reacts after the fact?
I don't know. Honestly, I mean,
he's been good for like 3+ years.
How is he really going to react? It's like, you know, it's not going to be good.
He's going to quit.
Here's the pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Low ball 1. They hadn't exactly made it clear what Presley and Hader's split would be coming into the season, but it started to become clear throughout spring. Presley was pretty open that he was not happy about the situation. 1-0. Called strike 1-1. But, what are you going to do? He's being asked to pitch in this role right now, and he started off the year in a pretty rough spot, but seems to have settled into the setup role pretty comfortably over the last couple months. 1-1. Flat hits it foul off to the right. Presley had an ERA over 5.5 in April. Specifically got rocked by Texas for 4 runs in a third of an inning on April 6th. High 3s ERA in May, and since then has been in the low 2s. Righty kicks and delivers. Swing and a soft roller right side. Second baseman Altuve glove. Snap throw to first. Just beats flag. 2 outs.
Well, he's still got good stuff. The fastball still sits 94, 96. Then he has that really good breaking ball. He's 35 years old. He was drafted in 2007. That's a long time ago.
Was a Red Sox pick out of high school in Texas, an 11th rounder, but was Rule 5'd by the Twins in 2012. Debuted with them and pitched until 2018 when he was traded to the Astros for prospects. 2 outs, base is empty. 5-3 Houston. Pitch to Davis Schneider is hit foul, 0-1. We're in the bottom of the 8th, and a reminder that this copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Good day for Schneider. 2 for 3 today, a run scored. The 0-1. Down and away. Ryan Presley owns a Major League Baseball record. In 2019, he went 40 consecutive scoreless appearances. 1-1. Swing and a foul ball hit to the right, 1-2. And among postseason closers, there are few with the numbers that Presley has. He's pitched a ton in the postseason, obviously, with the Astros. A 2.22 ERA in 46 postseason appearances. One-two. Schneider cuts and misses. Strike 3. A 1-2-3 frame for Presley sends us to the 9th. Astros leading 5-3 in Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
It's the 4th of July quadruple header on MLB Network Radio. Red Sox and Marlins are on now from South Florida, followed by the Orioles at the Mariners, Giants versus Braves, then the Dodgers hosting the Diamondbacks. It's on Sirius XM Channel 89 and on the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports, wherever you are. Your team plays here.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
My name is Craig Biggio, and my road to Cooperstown was one that was full with a lot of ups and downs.
This is John Paul Morosi. Coming up on the next episode of The Road to Cooperstown, I sit down with Hall of Famer Craig Biggio.
Catcher to second and center. Nobody's ever played all three in a full season. I did everything that the team ever asked me to do, so I take a lot of pride in that.
The Road to Cooperstown airs Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89, and the all-new SiriusXM app. New episodes drop every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts.
And it's gone!
Jays fans, this is John Schneider, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
There's the exclamation point for all assembled here at Rogers Center.
Radio Network.
9th inning in Toronto, 5-3. The Astros lead the Blue Jays. Appreciate you hanging out with us today on this Thursday afternoon. Chad Green will enter for the Blue Jays, despite Toronto trailing by 2 in the 9th inning. The righty is on to face Yordan Alvarez Yainer Diaz and Jake Myers. Could almost see the urgency from Toronto with this move as they use their interim closer here in a situation where they're trailing to try and stay in the game. Pitch to Alvarez is fouled back, 0-1. It was said at the outset of this homestand when Ross Atkins talked to the media, this is a pivotal homestand for the Blue Jays. Currently 8 games below 500 and 8 out of a wild card spot, 0-1. And he hit Alvarez on the back of the leg. Jordan grimaced a little bit, now takes off the shin guard and walks down to first. That was a slider that got him.
Well, that one right there probably hurt a little bit less than that last time. He was up 97, kind of in the hip bone against Cabrera. That one right there, did it bounce before it hit him? Nah.
Hit him on the bottom of the foot, actually.
Yeah, probably didn't hurt all that much, but he's probably disappointed. He wants to swing the bat.
Alvarez has been on 4 times today. A walk, an intentional walk, and twice hit by pitches. So he's 0 for 1. First pitch to Yainer Diaz is hit on the ground to short. Picked up by Clement. Goes to second one. Over to first, double play. Clement to Horwitz to Guerrero. 6-4-3. The Blue Jays turn it.
Just like he drew it up. It's exactly what the Blue Jays wanted right there. It's definitely what they needed. They needed a good pitch down in the zone. He gets that nice, easy ground ball to Ernie Clement. And the Blue Jays turn 2, get big 2 outs. You have to keep the score where it is right now.
Meanwhile, Josh Hader is getting loose, the lefty closer for the Astros. Although he's given up runs to the Blue Jays both times he's pitched against them this year. First the pitch to Jake Myers, called strike 1. Chad Green having a really strong season in his second year with the Blue Jays. Entered today with a 1.37 ERA and delivers the next pitch called outside. Man, it does not get much better than that, but it's called a ball, 1-1. Righty kicks, fires. Check swing on a pitch outside this time. Appeal to first. No swing, says C.B. Buckner. 2-1. Green in the set. Glove at his chest. The pitch. Outside. 3 balls and 1 strike.
That should have been a makeup call right there. That one was a ball. It was a little bit off, but it should have been a makeup call for that first ball that he called that first strike that he called a ball.
Here's the 3-1. Outside ball 4. 2-out walk for Myers. That'll bring up Jeremy Pena, who homered the last time he was at the plate in the 7th. An unbelievable mark. His 4th homer against the Blue Jays this season. And he's only hit 7 homers on the year. He's hit more homers against Toronto than the rest of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, in this series, he's peppered that bullpen out there.
Green's pitch. Pena cuts and misses. Strike 1.
And I think you can get him. The hole in Jeremy Pena's swing is down and away. Now, a lot of guys can't hit that pitch, but I think specifically Jeremy Pena has hit those hanging off-speed pitches. So if you can stay down and away to him, I think you're in good shape.
He hits a ball high to right field. Springer going back. Calls off Varsho and just in front of the track makes the catch to end the inning. Green works a scoreless 9th. Around a walk and a hit batter. Leaves 1 on. And the Blue Jays will try and keep this going. They need 2 to tie, 3 to win. 5-3 Houston. Bottom of the 9th with Josh Hader coming on next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Middle in fastball, but he puts it by Cruz. 2 down.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you at Baseball Control. Jays trail the Astros 5-3 as we head to bottom 9 at the Rogers Center. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk today. Blair and Barker have the postgame show. Jeff will throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. And once Jays Talk is over, the guys will have a 1-hour edition of their regular program, Blair and Barker, on both TV and radio. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Jays trail 5-3, bottom 9 at the Rogers Center. Here's our very own Ben Shulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. The Blue Jays trying to extend this one, like you said, down 5-3. Josh Hader, the closer for Houston, is into the game. He'll face Spencer Horwitz, Alejandro Kirk, and Ernie Clement here in this 9th inning. Hader allowed a run, but picked up a save on Canada Day in the opener of this series. 13 for 14 in save opportunities this year, although a 3.82 ERA. Lefty kicks and delivers. First pitch heater, high and outside, 1-0. It was Clement that got him for the homer in Game 1. Clement, as of right now, would represent the winning run. 1-0. Down and away.
And again, generally speaking, Hader's very tough on lefties, but I actually do not mind this matchup right here. Spencer Horwitz sees lefties very well.
2 for 3 today, swing and a miss on a 2-0 fastball right down the middle. Long-haired closer, kicks, delivers. Swing and a miss again. 98 on the outside edge from Josh Hader.
Yeah, this season lefties are batting .083 against Josh Hader.
And that's a sinking fastball too, so they have to deal with that with a ton of movement. He twists way back and throws from behind the back of the lefty almost. 2-2 count to start the bottom of the 9th. Hader's pitch to Horwitz. Check swing, slider just outside. That's a great take, 3-2.
That's a tough take.
Hader looks into home, now sets at the belt. Payoff pitch. Swing and a liner, headed to left field. Fair ball. Down on 3 hops into the glove of Lo Perfido. It's a 3rd hit today for Horwitz, who battled in a 3-2 count. And now the tying run is at the plate for the Blue Jays.
I actually don't know if Spencer Horwitz knew that he hit that ball fair. He kind of looked off into the stands and stayed in that box for a split second and then made it to first base. I think if he ran out of the box, he would have been on second base, but it's a good leadoff at bat for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Here's Alejandro Kirk, nobody out the pitch. Swing and a bouncing ball hit to second, picked up by Altuve. Backhand and flipped to second, over to first, double play. 2 outs, nobody on.
That's a tough fastball right there. 98 in on the hands of Alejandro Kirk. The only thing he could do right there is hit a weak ground ball to Jose Altuve. Now there's 2 outs, nobody on for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Down to their final chance here in this 5-3 game. Last home game for the Blue Jays until July 19th when Detroit comes to town. Clement did homer off Hader a few days ago. First pitch is called strike 1. Bo Bichette is on deck. If this game continues, it looks like Bo would hit in the spot of Dalton Varsho. 0-1. Swing and a fly ball center field. Camped under it. Myers makes the catch. That's the game and the series. The Astros win 5-3 today and win 3 out of 4 in Toronto.
Yeah, another tough loss for this Toronto Blue Jays team. They came up against a tough Framber Valdez, who really didn't pitch all that well. Gave up 9 hits, 3 earned runs. But I think that Chris Bassitt was just a little bit off today. His fastball command was a little spotty at times, and I think that's the big thing that happened today against this Houston Astros team. Chris Bassitt had to be perfect, and early on he just wasn't through a ton of pitches in this ballgame.
Both teams scored 3 runs in the first inning, but it ended up being the Astros who added on after that. They win 5-3. We'll take a quick step aside, and when we come back, wrap this one up before sending you over to Blue Jays Talk. Don't go anywhere. 5-3, the Astros win. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior Jays. Get to the ballpark early to enjoy outdoor activities before continuing the fun inside while you cheer on the Blue Jays.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Go to pizza.ca.
Hey, this is Chad Green. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
I was brought up in the front row, that fire and brimstone.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. The Blue Jays fall today to the Houston Astros. 5-3 is the final score in the 4th game of this series, and Houston comes to Toronto and takes the series 3-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, and Chris talked about the starting pitching today. Chris Bassitt has a tough one. He ends up giving up 8 hits and 4 runs with 4 walks and 3 strikeouts in 5 innings. Framber Valdez, 6 innings, 9 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. They both give up 3 in the first, but the difference in this game is that the Astros tacked on. The Blue Jays had some chances but didn't generate much after that first inning.
Yeah, it was just after that first inning, and they looked great in that first inning. A lot of hard contact against Framber Valdez, and he seemed to settle in quite a bit after that first inning. He was a little shaky, a lot of pitches over the middle, and I think that's why the Blue Jays were able to get the barrel to the baseball against such a tough hitter. But after that first inning, he was a different guy, threw a ton of those hard sinkers down in the zone and just mixed in that breaking ball. The Blue Jays really had no chance after that first.
Blue Jays did end up hitting into 5 double plays in this game. One of them was a line-out double play, which inflates the number a little bit, but the other one's on the ground after a leadoff runner in the 3rd, after a leadoff runner in the 4th, after a leadoff runner in the 5th, and then again with a leadoff runner in the 9th. All got erased by double plays at one point or another in the inning. And for the Blue Jays, it's a tough loss. They missed the chance at going 500 against 2 pretty good teams on the homestand in New York and Houston, and now they have to keep trying to push here before things get a little bit too late on a tough West Coast road trip starting in Seattle.
Yeah, I think we're getting to that point where the Blue Jays need to win 2 out of 3 or even sweep a series coming up here. Maybe not against Seattle. That's a tough ask to sweep a very good Seattle team, but you have to take 2 of 3. You have to think about sweeping a series here coming up, because we're getting to that point in the season where it's do or die essentially, and this was a tough 8-game stretch, but the Blue Jays needed to split this series, and they just didn't.
This is the last home game the Blue Jays play here before the All-Star break. They will have 9 straight on the road against Seattle, San Francisco, and Arizona starting tomorrow. The Blue Jays lose today 5-3. Houston scores 5 on 9 hits, no errors, 10 left. The Blue Jays scored 3 on 10 hits, no errors, and they end up leaving on 4. Framber Valdez with the win is 7-5. Chris Bassitt 7-7 with the loss. Hader's 14th save in 15 tries. A good crowd of 38,234 on a camp day on July 4th. A 2-hour and 37 minute affair. Blue Jays are now a season worst 9 games below 500 at 39-48. The Astros are 45-42. Blue Jays will face off with the Seattle Mariners and Luis Castillo coming up tomorrow in the first of a 3-game set. Kevin Gausman is on the mound for the Blue Jays. That one will start at 9:40 Eastern. So get your coffee ready, and excited for everyone on the West Coast to get a little bit more of a regularly timed game as Toronto plays 3 straight series out west in the United States. Thank you so much for tuning in today. For our technical directors, Derek Brandeo, Andrew Adams, and Stephen Coyle, our host and producer, Show Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulpin. Hope you have a great rest of your Thursday. Hope to hear from you coming up tomorrow when the Blue Jays take on the Mariners at 9:40. And hope that you stick around. Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker starts right now.
All right, well, Kevin Barker, at the start of these 8 games against the Yankees and the Astros, one team that is probably has a very good shot of winning the East, and the other team that was one of the teams ahead of the Blue Jays and whatever's left of the wild card race. Ross Atkins held his media availability, and it made it pretty clear. And his quote was, "This is a tough spot we've put ourselves in." But he made it pretty clear that, quote, this is a quote, "We've poured a lot into our current situation, the current team, and from a financial standpoint, from a trade standpoint, we'll continue to do that until it doesn't make sense for us to do it anymore." So let me ask you this. 3-8 against the Yankees and the Astros, in which your bullpen, rough math, because I ran out of time, but roughly I got 24 innings pitched, 33 hits, 21 earned runs. And you're 3-5 against those 2 good teams.
Yeah.
What do you think Ross Atkins can take away from this 8-game series?
Yeah, I think he knew coming into these 8 games what his team was already. And I think this just sort of solidifies that. All right, if you had any doubt of what you were planning on doing, do you have any doubt now? I mean, if you watch probably all parts of the game, especially today, right? The pitching on the other side's a little bit better. The base running was a little bit better. The situational hitting was a little bit better. It's just a little bit everywhere else for the other team than the Blue Jays. There's just not one eye-popping thing for the Jays other than some guys in the rotation that will give you some, quality starts. Well, they got 38 quality starts this season. I mean, they're, every once in a while they're going to battle and give the lineup at least a chance to have a big inning and win a baseball game that way. But other than that, I mean, it's just, sort of right now it is what it is. And I think it's just hard to take positives away from this thing today. I mean, the approaches at the plate were pretty good. It's just when they got their pitch to hit, they missed it like that. That I think is sort of the theme of the season is when they do have a collective good approach. Like a dude don't have his good sinker, he's throwing a bunch of breaking balls, right? You look up, you look down the middle, but when you get it, you can't miss it. And today, it's like those double plays, right? The Clement double play was right down the middle. The Vladdy sinker 3-1 count was right down the middle. Like some of those pitches that they were getting that they should be hitting a little bit harder to the big part of the field, they just weren't. And that's how you lose baseball games against a good team. So to answer your question, I think they sort of knew coming into this thing that their bullpen wasn't really good enough. The length of their lineup wasn't really good enough. Now I think it's starting to find out if the young guys are big leaguers or not. And for me, the Horowitz thing, man.
Okay, let me throw out the numbers. I want to talk about that because that to me is a takeaway that if you're a Jays fan, you've got to be really
stop trying
really
to figure out ways not to put him in a lineup.
416-870-0590 *590 1-888-666-0590. Those are the numbers to call. It is Blue Jays Talk. Blair and Barker on the Sportsnet Radio Network. Again, 416-870-0590 *590 1-888-666-0590. The Blue Jays have lost 5-3 to the Houston Astros. They now embark on a 9-game road trip leading up to the All-Star break. 3 against the Mariners, 3 against the Giants, 3 against the Diamondbacks. They are 39-48, again, winning 3 games, splitting with the Yankees, splitting the 4-game series with the Yankees, losing 3 of 4 to the Houston Astros. So we have a lot to talk about today, but I do want to start with Spencer Horwitz. getting a start against a really good left-hander. The Jays having to make a late lineup switch because of Bo Bichette's, because of a contusion on the forearm after he was hit by a pitch last night. So you had an infield of Clement, Jimenez, Horwitz, and Vladdy at first base. Spencer Horwitz today drove in a couple of runs, and went you got 3 hits, 3 hits, and again he was facing a really good left-handed pitcher. Whatever Framber Valdez is featuring on any particular day, he's a very good left-handed pitcher. I'm with you, Kevin Barker. Why doesn't he? Spencer Horwitz, to me, right now, given where they are, he's my everyday second baseman.
It gets back to it gets back to off the field. A bunch of smart people sitting around trying to figure out ways not to put a guy in the lineup. I mean, that's basically what this comes down to, right? Look, you understand that you're trying to get Jimenez in the game, and he's right-handed against the lefty, and all these games matter, and Valdez is real tough on lefties. Who's giving you better at bats than Horwitz? I mean, who is making consistent contact like he is?
First base, maybe.
Well, there's a reason why he's hitting in front of the big guy when he does play and start against the righties. So, it just doesn't make a ton of sense why you sit around and basically trying to figure out ways to keep him out of the lineup. Again, they were 8 games under 500 coming into this thing.
Yeah.
Like you need to try and put pressure on a good team, especially when you don't have a bunch of guys who can do that against a good pitcher like Valdez, even if he is a left-hander. And he's just showing you that doesn't matter whether the guy's lefty or righty or not. Run him out there and see what happens. See how it looks at the end of the year. Maybe all of a sudden you found your everyday second base.
Exactly. Yeah. And maybe all of a sudden you found that lefty hitter you've been looking for out of your minor league system.
That can hit in front of Vladdy.
That can hit in front of Vladdy.
Hopefully he's here next year.
Now. Cautionary approach. We were all in love with Davis Schneider a month ago. And Davis Schneider is now, I believe, he's either tied with or just a little behind or maybe 1 percentage point ahead of George Springer in batting average. So keep that in mind. I understand they're different hitters, but keep that in mind. Let's not get too carried away with Spencer Horwitz. But to your point, he is he is a left-handed hitter who gives you a professional approach. All right, John Schneider, the manager of the Blue Jays, is addressing the media.
Take away from it? Not where we want it to be, obviously. A couple hard-fought games. Right there today, double plays didn't help. Hitting some balls at people didn't help. It just wasn't exactly where we wanted to be.
And what about Chris? They got to him early. Did anything change that you liked more throughout the rest of that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think much changed. It was some hard contact, some soft. Bregman's ball in the first, scooch through, could have been double play. One of those seeing eye hits. I don't think much changed except probably just his command a little bit, walks and got his pitch count up. But I thought there was a lot of good from his outing tonight or today, and just kind of ran out of pitches.
John, you mentioned sort of not being where you'd like to be. Just in terms of mindset for your players, it's been a tough stretch against some teams that you'd be competing against for the postseason. What's your sort of message to them about mindset moving forward here?
You got to keep going. You got to pick yourself up and keep going. It's a big road trip before the break. We've talked about that for the last few days with the guys. You got to pick yourself up and rest on the plane and get ready for another big series. There's no giving up. There's no quitting. It was not an ideal homestand for sure. Nothing you can do about it now. You got to look forward to tomorrow in Seattle, and then keep going.
And it wasn't in the original lineup, but Spencer Horwitz, tough lefties, 3 hits. What did you like about the way he approached both Valdez and Hader there in the ninth?
Yeah, I mean, pretty impressive, aggressive when he should have been, I think, with runners in scoring position, and, really, really battled against a really tough lefty in Hader after swinging through a couple, laying off a few close pitches. Pretty impressive at-bats from him today all around.
The way you use the bullpen today, we don't usually see Richards or Green when you're trailing. Mm-hmm. Did that sort of speak to how important a game this was for you?
Oh yeah, they're all important. I think if they're available, we're gonna use them. Cabby did a really nice job, and Trev has been so good for us, as has Chad. You want to try to keep it right there, and if they're ready to go, we gotta try to take advantage of every opportunity right now.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. That is John Schneider, manager of the Toronto Blue Jays. Short and sweet.
Yeah, the one thing, I love the way Cabrera threw today. I do not like that. You hit a guy and say, my bad. No. That dude's a home run hitter. You got to crowd him. A sinker gets away from you. You hit him in the backside. Tough. Yeah, draw a line, tell him come out here and get you some. Like, that's just the way it is. Like, that's the big leagues. I think that's a learning experience. I think, hopefully, fingers crossed, the way I know Pete Walker, maybe you'll have a little conversation and go, again, this is a competition. This is a big league. He's trying to get a dude out. You got to get that guy out in and up. Every once in a while, you overthrow when you're behind an account. Yep. One gets away, hits you in the backside, he stares at you, stare back at him. I mean, what's he going to do? Come out there? I mean, it's a pushing contest in the big league. So, I mean, it ain't like they're going to throw blows. So, yeah, that's the only part of that. But his stuff's been good. He's been locating that little cutter slider thing, whatever he wants to call it. That's been on point. I mean, he's throwing consistently hard again. He's not throwing so many down the middle. He's got lots of confidence. Give him credit. Like, there was a time there that you could have pulled the shoot on him.
I was going to say.
And walked away from that. Yep. And, again, I think that had a little something to do with Tim Mesa. Tim Mesa was doing what Tim Mesa wasn't doing. And, that gave Cabrera a little bit longer of a leash. And now he's turning into this kind of guy. So, yeah, I mean, I like everything he's doing right.
This is what I talked about. The maddening thing about this team is this organization has in the past been able to fill in bullpen. Like, they've done a nice job putting together or making in-season acquisitions for the bullpen. A question for you, and this is a horrible second guess. So, John, because I know you do listen, I'm going to apologize in advance because I didn't think of it at the time until Buck and Dan brought it up. And I'm not throwing Buck and Dan under the bus, just so I didn't think of this. Third time Trevor Richards saw the Astros this series.
Yeah.
Too much?
No.
I was just asking. He gives up the home run to Pena.
Yeah, that's because he elevated the changeup. If he doesn't throw the changeup a little up, they're out.
Okay.
If it's got good run and good arm speed on it, I've told you this story a bazillion times. Me, Siddle, and Showman were standing behind him in spring training when he was throwing a pin. He threw 3 of those changeups in a row. He can tell you it's coming. If he has good sort of late movement to it, and it's got like a little split action down and away, sank to it, and it's got that good mile per hour difference, you ain't hitting it. But if it's a little up, it's a BP hitter. That's what Pena did. Yeah. Pena's a giant. Like, he is a very strong.
He's hit 7 home runs this year, 4 of them against the Jays. I haven't looked at the numbers here for this series. But it seems to me that there was an awful lot of Altuve, Pena, and Alvarez happening in this series.
That's basically how they win games. I think.
It is. Yeah. I know, but and when I compare that to what we saw from the Blue Jays, again, this is not Captain Obvious. You're going to take the top 4 in the Astros lineup over the Blue Jays 11 days out of 10.
Yeah.
Even without him. I mean, I'd still take, Bassitt, Turner, Guerrero, whoever. You're going to tell me you wouldn't take Altuve, Bregman,
I didn't
Alvarez
say
or whoever.
I didn't say I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I said I'd like to have Tucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the other thing. The Astros, the guys who have to come through for Houston came through offensively.
Yeah.
And, John Schneider, credit John Schneider. I mean, he intentionally walked Alvarez twice. Yeah. Worked out today.
Yeah.
Worked out today.
That's why Chris...
Walking with interesting with third base being the base open. I like that strategy. I like that strategy with a guy like Alvarez. I don't care what base is open. I like that strategy with Alvarez, and it worked out.
Yeah, you saw even in the first inning when Chris gave up the first 2 leadoff hits, and then he was careful to Alvarez. You got bases loaded, right? That's why you get 30 pitches in an inning. You're only throwing 17 strikes, because you want to be real careful. That's the game plan, right? I mean, again, I would think going forward, that's why Tucker is very, very important. Mm-hmm. Who's hitting in front and behind Alvarez? It's that right protection thing. Sometimes it's either. Maybe it's both with Alvarez. Because if I'm a guy in the playoffs, if I'm an opposing manager, I'm doing exactly what John did. Like, no, you got no chance.
Dude, Alvarez is a lefty judge.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a lefty judge.
You got no chance of beating me. So, yeah, look, that's again, they got a lot of good things happening. And again, this just sort of is the theme of the Blue Jays season. Is the other teams that are good are just good enough on all parts of the game, right? Just a little bit everywhere. It's like that one little base running move. It's that one little situational hitting thing. It's that one little pitch that you have to make from a guy in the pen that nobody's ever heard of that they make that the Jays don't make. It's always like that one little move. So,
what'd you make of Bassitt today?
Yeah, I thought.
What did I tell? What did he had? 5 whiffs, 21. He had a lot of called strikes. I think he had like 5 whiffs or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, he had 6 different pitches, which is I think sometimes most of the time it's around that 3 different pitches. But I think the first inning looked like the pace in the field was, that pace is a thing for him. He just sort of walks around the mound. He's drooping. He's flipping the ball in the air. He just don't really know how to get on the same page. He's trying to get the field, the out in front, and then you have to throw 6 different pitches and you give up a couple of singles. And, this is why good teams stack a bunch of good hitters up front to put pressure on good pitchers in the first couple of innings. So it turns out this way where it basically smothers you to force you to have to be fine with all your pitches. And when the pace in the field's not there, the location suffers. You give up 3 runs, 30 pitches, 17 strikes. And that's what John was talking about. He ran out of pitches. They wanted him to go another inning, right? And he couldn't because he threw 30 in the first.
To me, that 5th inning offensively for the Blue Jays, a leadoff walk, the bunt attempt, if you want to call it that, by
See, I think that's a good bunt. I know Siddle came on and said, look, that's a better play from Bregman. I mean, that is an on the run throw across your body strike to the second baseman. It took a perfect throw to get him out. I know what Siddle's saying, but you got crossfire lefty on the mound who's thrown you 3 wild pitches in a row. You've gotten in a good count to bunt a ball. You got the ball you wanted to bunt. You bunted it where you wanted it to go, but the defender was – it's very hard to take your barrel, spin it towards the first baseman on a ball that's that far away on a lefty that's crossfire. Good luck.
Johnny in Vancouver, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hey, guys, there's a scene in a movie called Trouble with the Curve where the smug general manager gets fired by the owner. And I think that's coming for Ross Atkins. I really want to be a fly on the wall when that happens in that room because this guy has got to go. I mean, what has he achieved? He's got this record payroll team that's over-cackified. They pull Barrios when he's rolling or they keep good hitters out of the lineup when they're doing well. And now he's created a team that has no identity. I mean, we're a run prevention team that can't prevent runs. We can't score runs consistently. We sacrificed our defense to turn a terrible offense into a mediocre one. And, we got statistically one of the worst, if not the worst, bullpen in baseball. We got nothing in the farm system. You've got the worst
bullpen in baseball.
There it is. We got nothing in the farm system. We lead the league in all the wrong stats, grounding to double plays, home runs given up, losing when your pitcher gives you a quality start. Look, the 2015 and 16 Jays brought a lot of fans back, but this team is driving them away, and it's beyond frustrating. And, something's got to change. So I'm calling for Ross Atkins' head. I know a lot of fans have, but he's got to go. We need a new front office to come in and turn this team around. Otherwise, they're going to lose a lot of fans.
Johnny, appreciate the call. Look, I hope people still. It's still baseball.
Yeah. Obviously, they love Vladdy by voting him in, and he's an all-star.
It's still baseball. Yeah. Right now, you still have Vladdy, but I can't. I can't. Johnny, I can't disagree. I can't disagree with you. We've talked about it ad nauseum on this show to the point where, I'm almost just really watching what I'm saying, to be honest. I can't put it any other way.
When did that start?
Well, and Johnny, and listen, Johnny's right. I'm not going to say who, but talk to somebody in the organization. When they started bringing up Horowitz and Aurelvis Martinez and all this, and one of the points made was that the team was sacrificing run prevention, but for marginal offensive gains in a lot of places. Which, you have to ask yourself, okay, like you understand why, because you understand, and this was back when George Springer was, hitting 19th. And you understand why that
they were begging
move was made.
Yeah.
They were begging for some sort of something different offensively. In the process, though, you did damage the run prevention.
I think
listen, I don't know about you, but I thought today, because we've all heard the Bo Bichette trade rumors, and I don't know if Bo Bichette's going to get traded. Right now, I think the chances are he doesn't. But I'll tell Jays fans, that infield you saw today could very well be the infield you're going to be seeing in August and September.
Wow.
If Bo's traded. And
I mean, that might be a tough look. Like, I'm not sure you could exactly fill in the blanks with those three guys plus Vladdy. I'm not sure of that. Now, maybe Horowitz at second, because that might be your future.
You like
seeing that play out. But the left side of the infield with what the veteran guys you may still have in your rotation,
IKF is going to be out for a while.
You'll have to figure it out. I mean, they'll have to whatever they're trading for to get back. Maybe you have to go out and get a veteran.
Paul DeYoung or something.
You'd have to get a veteran guy who knows how to catch it and flip it and throw it to the right base. And I mean, there's. Man, like it's sort of like that pen you're talking about. Like you still want to sell commercials and you still want fannies in the seats, and the way you're going to do it is stop running out the people that you shouldn't be running out there. Yeah, right. So that's depressing. Even hearing you say that. I'm not in the camp with you. I think Bo's getting traded. I think that ship has sailed. I think it just seems to me like there's a lot of tension there. Both parties, there's a lot of tension, and the performance that's being given from Bo, it just seems like if there's a good time to do it, Jeff, it's now.
No. I mean,
okay.
No, listen.
If you can get something for him, because again, you still don't know what other teams think of him by watching this. I'm just saying.
Listen.
Because you want him to hit the ground running.
No, listen. You don't trade Bo Bichette just to get something.
No,
you
that's
got
not
him
what
for
I
next
meant.
year.
That's not what I meant.
That's essentially what you said.
No, if I said that, that's not what I meant.
You don't trade Bo Bichette just because. You don't. I mean, you just don't trade him just because. He can't force a trade. It's not. He's under contract for another year with this organization.
Yeah, I think there'll be enough interest to make it worth their while.
Well, it's got to be worth their while, or he's here. And now we open all the discussion about who gets to make that decision. And do you trust them to make that decision? And honestly, I'd rather wait until the off season, because I'm just.
It's a lot to go through.
I just don't know. I just don't know. I don't know if I trust Ross to. I don't know if I trust him to trade Bo.
Yeah, this is what I was trying to say. I was trying to say what the other teams are thinking about Bo now and are willing to give up for this Bo.
Then you can't. If they're not willing to give anything up for this Bo, then you don't trade.
Well, we've heard the rumblings and we've heard what was offered, then you don't trade him.
Well, then you don't trade him. Yeah, he can be as unhappy as he wants. He's here. You're not going. I'm certainly not going to have him force my hand.
And that left side of the infield you just mentioned, that can't be the best of looks, especially with the veteran guys. And you may be trying to get in some more veteran pitchers here that would see that and be like, "You're going to do that to us?" When it's like, you're trying to smooth it over, boy.
Ryan in Calgary, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Guys, I just want to quickly first off say, just give you guys are both such beauties. I love your banter. I love your insights. Thank you so much. We're so lucky to have you as Jays fans. So thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Quickly, I've been a Jays fan since I was a little boy. TV's always been on with Jays games. I've been born and raised in Calgary. I will continue to have them on forever. Tough times. I get it. It's kind of the life cycle of a team. I get it. We're headed. We all know where we're headed. We got to rebuild things. We got to, kind of tear things down. We talked about it ad nauseum. But what I wanted to ask, guys, and Barker, I'm curious about your thoughts. I know you guys both have differing opinions about umpiring, and I know there's been some discussion about some umps are better than others. I've read a lot about the pros and cons of using objective strike zones, and I'm just curious, would players be supportive of objective strike zones using whatever technology we have available to us? It's hard as a fan to watch clear balls being called strikes and the other way around, and I know over the long run of a season, it's going to wash out, is what they say. But you can't tell me that it's not going to affect some outcomes of games when they're missed. And I just wonder, is that the direction we're headed? Is it going to stay subjective, or where is it going to head? And are players supportive of that or not? Thanks, guys, so much. Thanks a lot. I'll keep listening to you guys for a long time. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Please do. Yeah, if you're. You can keep watching and listening to us.
Now, if I were a hitter, I'd like that. Like, I'd like to know the strike zone. I'd like to know what I don't have to chase. I'd like to know what the elevated part of the strike zone is. Right? There's some unknowns there of what you need to, try and combat.
Well, let's talk about
lay off of
what we're talking about is the challenge system. Baseball you're never getting rid of the home plate umpire completely. Players polls.
Well, somebody's got to relay the message.
Players polls. No, the message is relayed by the scoreboard. Just players polls show time and again that Major League players do not want a fully automated system. They don't. So you're going to have a challenge system like you have in AAA, where you're given a certain number of challenges a game. It's like the Hawkeye technology that's used in tennis. You challenge, the call is shown on the scoreboard. If it's a strike and the umpire's called it a ball, then it becomes a strike, and we move on, and the next pitch is thrown. And that's where this is going to go. Ultimately, you'll see that in here. I think you'll see it in the majors in another couple of years. And, I mean, if you talk to guys at the minor league level, they seem to like it. They don't seem to have a problem with it. But you're not going to have you're not going to have no home plate umpires.
I don't see how that works. Oh,
it's been working for 2 years, and everybody seems happy with it.
In the minor leagues, everybody makes the same amount of money. In the minor leagues, not everybody at the big league level makes that amount of money. It's how many challenges you get. It's how they do it. It's how an organization or a team that day basically allots that player if he's allowed to challenge or not. Like if I'm Horowitz. Or if I'm Vladdy, who do you think's getting the check? Yeah, okay. That's the thing, right?
But Kevin,
how's that going to work?
Well, you're going to have to figure it out. You're going to have to. Again, we're arguing about something that might be 2 or 3 years down the road, but the fact of the matter is, it's coming, and they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I like that little robot tells you what the striker ball is. Let that guy standing behind the catcher go. Yeah, it's a strike. Yeah, it's a ball.
There's no. What are you talking about?
It's like that old, some kind of system that helps out the.
No, they've never had that.
Well, they need to figure it out.
Well, they've never had
because that's. I think that's what the caller's saying too. Is
he's talking about a challenge system? That's what he's talking about. An objective strike, and that's as objective as you're going to get. I mean, we've had people on telling us that's happening. So yeah, you're going to have to figure it out. Obviously, you're going to have there's going to be you're going to have discussions because you don't want your number 9 hitter challenging every pitch. You're going to have to figure that out.
All right, good luck.
You're going to have to figure that out.
Good luck.
Well, you were all in favor of this.
I don't think I am now.
Would it make a difference if I said I don't like the idea?
I think that would have helped a little. Yeah. You raised your voice at me. So every time you raise your voice at me, it gets me headed in the other direction. That's what it is.
It's because you have to. No, you have to. You have to understand what you are going to talk about, what you are realistically talking about when it comes to an objective strike system. And everybody who's used this seems to like it. So, given the rules changes we've seen, they've all worked for the most part.
Yeah.
So, I got complete faith. And they're not going to rush into this.
Yeah.
Because it's got to be voted on. They're not going to rush into it.
I told you, all you got to do is start firing bad umpires, rolling their name across the bottom of the screen, saying that the percentage of strike to balls is this amount. They were terrible. That will tell umpires you got to be better at your job. That's exactly what needs to happen. They did that to players. They did that to me. They scrolled my name across the ESPN.
Doesn't matter.
Top prospect of Milwaukee Brewers got sent down because it's hit 220.
It doesn't. Well, you shouldn't hit 220.
Well, 220 now be hitting third for the Jays.
Or lead off, depending on what your bat path was like.
I'm just saying.
Listen,
too soft on umpires.
No,
Yeah, they are.
This. If anything, let me ask you this:
soft.
If you want to have umpires held accountable,
absolutely.
You don't think that having your mistake flashed on the scoreboard in front of 45,000 fans in Game 1 of the World Series, you don't think that's accountability?
It's one pitch. Yeah. It's one pitch. It's not a collection of over 400 pitches.
Kevin, what if it happens 4 times in a game?
It depends on how many
Jim
challenges they give you.
I mean, this is silly. Jim and Hamilton, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Gentlemen, good day.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Specific question for Kevin.
Uh-oh.
Do you think... No, I got a comment for you too, Jeff.
I see now. Okay, go ahead.
Do you think Danny Jansen and Kikuchi, if they were traded, they would re-sign in the off-season? Other comment, why the heck wasn't Horowitz up here in May and Biggio DFA'd in May? And Jeff, I agree with you about daytime drinking unless the Jays have a 1 o'clock start. I'll hang up and listen to your answer.
That's tremendous.
Have a good day, gentlemen.
The Horowitz thing, we have no idea. Me and Jeff been trying to figure that out forever. I mean, he's working on what? Pulling the ball in the air. It looked to me like he knows how to do that, right? I mean, see two strike homers all over the place. You seeing that?
Yeah,
the Danny Jansen thing. Look, I'm under the impression the people that I've talked to that they've offered. And the two sides didn't come to an agreement. I have no idea whether he'd want to sign back here or not. The Yusei Kikuchi, Jeff, did lefties that throw that hard growing trees?
Yusei Kikuchi going to get paid. He's going to get paid.
Is he? Well, I mean, it's how. Yeah. I mean, he's a number 4 on a good team.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so what he got paid last time? 3 for 32.
Have you seen what number 4 starters are getting now? He'll get more than he got last time
at his age.
Absolutely, at his age, because he's throwing harder. Well, he's throwing harder now, and he's better than he was 3 years ago.
Then the answer to Jim's question is no.
No, he's not coming back here. And Danny Jansen,
Danny's probably not coming back either.
Somebody will give Danny Jansen a 3 or 4 year deal to DH and catch, and it'll be a good team, and they'll move on.
For some reason or the other, Danny's got big time rollover now. You notice that, like the point of contact, timing wise, is really off. And for whatever reason, he's got giant top hand rollover, meaning every time he makes contact now, he's starting his rollover right at the point of contact, which will mean something's off.
Do you think that
might be because they're spinning a bunch of breaking balls to him?
Do you think it's anything physical with his hand from the injury? I mean, I'm guessing.
That's a tremendous. That's a great question that I don't have the answer to that. But it's funny that he went from that to Cliff.
Yeah.
It's like, you noticed?
Yeah, no, that's
their
very
team, true. When they struggle, it ain't week. It's months.
No.
It's odd, right?
It's very odd.
It's odd.
That's something. There's 2 things you mentioned in the last 2 years, and I know we'll take a break in a minute.
Umpires stink?
No.
Then what? This one.
And day drinking's bad. There's 2 things you mentioned, and Jesus, I just forgot them. I was going to give you credit. Let's take a break, and I'll remember what did you just say? What did you said something that I was going, oh, I know what it was. Here's what it was. About the slumps lasting longer. You said 2 things that have really kind of stuck with me. One, why is it that when the Jays go out and sign some old dude in the offseason, he comes in and right away is the best hitter? Because Brandon Belt came in, breaking. Justin Turner comes in, breaking. So these are guys you're bringing, and they haven't had, they've had a spring training with you, but these are guys coming in. So why do these guys come in all of a sudden and they are your best hitter? That's a very good point. And secondly, why do the slumps last as long as they last? And more to the point, why do the slumps look so bad?
Yeah.
Like they just look bad. Not numerically. We've been around players. You go, oh, that guy's scuffling. Oh, man, he's 2 for 18. But, you look at a Blue Jays player, you go, Jesus, that's awful.
Bo Bichette, 300 at bats of this.
Yeah.
Why?
416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590. Chris Bassitt apparently just started talking, so we've got another hour before we can turn that clip around. I'm just kidding. We'll come back and maybe hear from the Blue Jays starter.
You
back
need to
the phone
apologize
lines.
to me.
And I apologize. What am I apologizing for?
Because you yelled at me twice.
Well, yeah, because you were making a...
I was telling the truth. You don't like to hear the truth?
416-8700. Stop it or I'll tell people how much you like Dan Iasonia.
He's my favorite. I will not lie about that. It's my favorite umpire, hands down. And you want to know why? Did you watch the game last night?
All right. 416-870-0590, star 590. 1-888-660-590. Shout out to Dan Iasonia, friend of the show. It's Blue Jays Talk on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
We're 2menintruck.ca. We've got lots of men and lots of trucks, so get ready to be moved.
Think 2 men in a truck, 2 men in a truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2 men in a truck, 2 men in a truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2 men in a truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks. So give us a call today.
So, you want to be a Looney Dogger, eh? Every Tuesday, the Blue Jays home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Grab $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around Rogers Center. Plus, stop by the Schneider's Porch, your hot dog headquarters. The destination for a one-of-a-kind hot dog experience with excellent ballpark views. So, whether you're the relish ringleader or 7th-inning snacker, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. Don't miss out on this delicious deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop-on-the-bandwagon fan. We're the in-it-for-the-long-haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's building center. Visit timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball painted at the bottom of the zone, and that's back-to-back strikeouts.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
I don't think it's any different than game one, as crazy as it is. Like, I don't think you can think of it any other way. It's just tomorrow you have to win. Like, same exact thing as day one, day two. Just win tomorrow. That's it. Like, if you're starting to think about all the other stuff, it does not help anything. Like, there's no benefit to thinking about it. So just win tomorrow. Just make it simple. Anything else, I think, is just the wrong answer.
That is Chris Bassitt talking about life on a team that is 9 games under 500. No, that's what he was asked about. I got something that's going to make you feel better.
I'd love to hear it.
For the first time since 1976, I was wrong about it. No, for the first time since 1976, the Cincinnati Reds have swept the New York Yankees.
Nice.
At Yankee Stadium. The Yankees are in crisis mode right now.
Yeah. A Booney'd be fired by Saturday.
Speaking of Boone, Brett Boone's going to join us on Blair and Barker.
See what I did there?
5 o'clock. Very good. Mm-hmm. David Sampson as well. So, yes, there will be Blair and Barker after the game. After we've gotten all our bad one-liners out of the way and poked fun at whatever needs to be poked fun or take calls from people, we will have a
Calls have been great.
Regular edition. Yes.
Very smart
God
calls.
Bless you callers.
Yes. You guys have been tremendous. Keep them coming.
Yeah. If I had gifts to give out to you, I'd be giving you gifts.
Well, you never give me one.
You just have to
except
settle.
This free coffee.
You'll just have to settle for my undying love and respect. which used to be worth something. Kevin in Aurora. You're on Blue Jays
What
Talk.
a name, Kevin.
Yeah, I know, right?
Is that your real name?
It is 100% my real name.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah. Okay. My biggest question is, why did Schneider leave Kirk, the double hitting machine, in the ninth inning and not give Jano a chance? Now, I did hear in your last comment that the rollover is a big thing. And my next part is, do you guys really think that Kirk is the back catcher? Do you think he's worth his spot?
Thanks for the call. Do I think? I mean, back catcher. Anyhow, catcher is Kirk. No, he's not your number one catcher next year. I mean, he can't be. He can't be anybody.
They've tried that already.
They tried it already.
Yeah.
He's just. I mean, he can frame away
3 days a week.
Frame away to his heart's content. But yeah, he's offensively. He's
not very good.
No, he's not. He's not
right
very
now.
good.
He's not very good.
And he
can't say it any other way.
He is a living, breathing, walking double play. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
Yeah,
there is no other way to put it. And just another example of this organization putting their faith in. I mean, I don't know, whatever they saw.
Yeah, and Jansen was already in the lineup, so they couldn't bring Jansen.
Jansen was in the lineup.
Yeah, and they'd already used.
But the point is, I mean, who was left? Stuart Baroa. I saw Bo rummaging around the batting. I mean, the bat rack.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Bo was going to come in, guy on against the closer, is left-handed. Like that made a little sense, right? John's trying to do the same thing he was doing with the pen. Is pocket the right bench guy with the right bench guy. And I'm going to be the first one to raise my hand. I think John's done a good job the last week and a half or 2 weeks.
I was going
for the most part. I think he's been given.
Yes,
but you people tell us how you do it any different.
Yep.
Like it's even bringing Cabrera in today to the top of the order. Like he's fresh. He hadn't pitched in a while. They haven't seen this dude. Come out there and let that thing eat, get after it. I mean, it's giving Alvarez and Altuve a different look, a Bregman a different look. I mean, he's throwing off speed pitches. He throws hard.
And the other thing is John's managing that situation, knowing full well that those guys are going to come up again in the game, and you keep your best for the next time around. No, listen, I mean, people are. John Schneider gets criticized because John Schneider's the guy facing the media every day, and John Schneider's the guy giving answers to questions that, I mean, he probably doesn't even believe the answers a lot of the time, to be honest. But that's his job. And he's not a dummy. He knows what he has. He's not going to throw his players under the bus. But
he knows what it feels like.
Because he knows what it feels like. Yeah, in terms of running the game, I mean, look.
Good luck.
Yeah. Tell me what you would do differently. The only thing, I will say this, the one thing I disagree with John about was leaving George Springer in the leadoff spot as long as he did. Do I think that would have made a difference to the Blue Jays' success? Not if Spencer Horwitz wasn't up here. So that's the one area that I think that I really have a profound disagreement with John on. But using the bullpen, I mean, that's basically him using a priority list he's been given by computer or by the khakis or whoever. So, I honestly have no problem other than the Springer stuff with the way John's managed.
Yeah, the bullpen.
Believe me. I mean, you've heard me and you've read me. I had no problem bearing Gibby. I had no problem bearing Charlie as managers. But I don't.
I just don't know how you could sit around and complain about what John's doing with the pen. I mean, the pen's giving up 52 homers, which leads baseball. Like Richards gave up another one today. Like that's And what I mean,
your most reliable pitchers are giving up home runs.
Yeah,
there's no way. There's no way around it.
No, I think he's done a good job. That's just me.
John and Guelph, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
John.
Hi, guys.
Hey, buddy.
Just to use a hockey analogy.
Oh, see, you mentioned hockey analogy, and
that's what happens.
Baseball god said, "Screw that, hockey's over." Kipper and Bourne. There.
ya.
I mean, I know exactly where McKee is right now. He's on
Oh, I
the
know where
12th. He's on
Kipper's
the
at,
12th
too.
hole someplace.
Yeah.
But Kipper's probably there too.
Oh, he's with him. Yeah. Making fun.
You know.
Making fun of him because he didn't hit the ball the way he's supposed to hit it. That's not hockey like. How dare you hit it like that?
Yeah. So anyhow, Mark in Montreal.
Mark,
How you guys doing?
good. Thanks,
doing
buddy.
well, Mark. Couldn't be better.
I won't tick off the baseball gods by mentioning that other sport, but anyway.
Nice.
I got a bit of a statement to make, and I'm going to follow it up with a question after, and you guys fill me in.
Okay.
I'm of the opinion that this team needs to be blown up, and it needs to go through a rebuild. And my reasoning behind it is it's been a long time since this team has been deep at multiple or all positions. We don't have depth at the bottom of the lineup. We don't have depth in the bullpen. We don't have a true ace in the rotation. Some will argue that there's nothing in the minors that'll solve any of these problems, and you can't just keep bringing in the Justin Turners and the Brandon Belts of the world to try and fill these spots. So my question for you is that if you believe that, would the fan base in Toronto be smart enough to accept that and stand by the team and not let attendance fall and all that stuff? Because I can assure you, as a former Expos fan, when you see your players leave over and over and over and over, you know what happens to that team when that happens. But if the ownership of this team was committed to going through a rebuild but keeping those players around long term once that rebuild is done, do you think the fan base in Toronto would put up with that, would stand for that?
That's a great question. Thanks, Mark. I think at this point, the way forward, and I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but this is what I would do. I would try to sign Vladdy long term.
Yep.
And I would trade Bo in the offseason.
Yep.
And I would basically, other than Jose Barrios, I would put everybody else is available. I'm not saying that I'm going to dump everybody, but other than that, everybody else is available. There's nobody, even in the bullpen, there's nobody that I think would be untouchable. Here's something that we need to keep in mind, I think, Kevin, when we look ahead to what this team is going to do. You do have an ownership group that's committed to spend money. I think the payroll this year, we always throw the figure $235 million around. It's someplace in the top 10 in baseball. Do I think ownership in this market would go over the luxury tax 4 or 5 years in a row? I don't think any ownership group in baseball would go over the luxury tax 4 or 5 years in a row. So I always hold that out, that you have committed ownership that is willing to back up good intentions with money. And I know people get tired about hearing about the ballpark, but ownership fixed up a decaying ballpark and basically has given the city a ballpark that should last for, I don't know, however many more years, without once saying, we need to build a new ballpark. I mean, you haven't heard anything like that from this ownership group. There's never been any threat. So I take solace in that, and the fact that I've got an ownership group that is willing to spend money. My question isn't the money they're spending, and I think most Jays fans agree with me. I think the real question is, does the Jays fan base trust Mark and Ross to do the rebuild?
Yep.
Like, I think people understand there has to be a rebuild. Signing Vladdy makes it a little easier because you're giving the fans something they can hang their hat on. And with Vladdy and Barrios, you've got to start. But I think the real question here and the real test for the fan base, and I honestly don't know the answer because there's just so much negativity around this team right now. I think the real question is, would the fan base put up with this management group doing the rebuild? That That might be a tougher
Yeah, I think it would be, or at least for me anyway, I don't think you can give away both Bo and Vladdy. I think you got to keep one of the two. You do it keeping one of the two, signing one of the two, saying you're invested in one of the two, and wanting to retool, figure out the edges. I mean, they got a blueprint, right? They've done it this way, made the playoffs. Yeah. How do you consistently do that and add to the offense, make the offense better? That's the obvious kryptonite, is they have not figured out a way to just be better at it.
No.
Like, fill in the blanks there. So Look, I mean, the prices that you have to spend to even go to a baseball game is not the easiest thing to do. And when you're having to watch a really bad product without a Bo or Vladdy on the team, might not be the easiest thing to do. So I would think it'd be an easier sell. If for me anyway, sign the big boy that plays first. You want to trade Bo? Go for it.
Yeah. And I may not have necessarily felt that way a couple of years ago.
I'm with you.
But
the way he was hitting and looked happy, and as you know, the way he said, basically told everybody, I can play short. Yep. I can do this.
John in Guelph is back. He's not going to mention hockey anymore. He's promised.
No, I'm not. So my point was this. In that sport that goes unmentioned, those teams that lose by one goal on a constant basis, and the fan base and media think that, hey, you know what, we're so close, right? We're just losing by a goal. But in true fact, that lone gunman, what I call the lone gunman theory, is false. And we've seen that lone gunman theory, and it's been taken advantage by Russ Atkins because, if Springer was just hitting a little better. Well, George starts hitting, what happens? Same thing. If this guy, you get what I'm going at? Yep. This lone gunman thing, right? And Atkins now understands, he's no dummy. He understands he's got 6, 7, 8 issues. The media and the public keep focusing on one guy or one thing. And here we are, in my opinion. In my opinion. As far as the Bo thing, this is like the Romano, and this again goes to media and the city of Toronto. You know, how long did it take Mariano Rivera to get a song to come out of the bullpen? Right? Romano gets 20 saves and there's a song. Okay? It's the bar. It's the bar here. And Bo Bichette, how can the kid not think he's a superstar with all the hype in the media? But now you're finding out what the public and what the other baseball people think he is. First, you got to prove it.
I mean, I would argue that
he's frustrated because he thinks he's already there.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that a dude who has that many hits this early in his career, I don't think he has to prove anything. I think baseball people know exactly what Bo is. I mean, the numbers are there. If anybody has to prove anything, frankly, it's Vladdy. I mean, in terms of, the Romano, the entry song, I mean, Jordan Romano was this team's closer. I was only partially kidding last year when I said, okay, with Jordan Hicks in this team, if he closes, do you play Romano's music in the 8th inning now when he comes in and have the light show and everything? Mm-hmm. I think Jordan earned everything he got.
Absolutely.
I think Bo has earned everything he got.
Absolutely.
In Jordan's case, though, I think this organization, I've talked about this, I think they're guilty of just assuming that the bullpen was going to be good. And we need to remember this. There's something else got to remember. This was a good bullpen last year.
Sure was.
This is a good starting
one of the best
last year. It was one of the best last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it hasn't been one tire fire after another, but I do think that the Jays, this front office, I mean, they've been guilty of having misplaced faith in guys. And I'm not saying you have to go out and change everybody, but you got to do more to your bullpen than bring in a Brendan Little. You just do. And I think that I get back to this. There's just a lot of misplaced faith. The fact that we're still seeing Alejandro Kirk play as often as he's playing, the fact that we're still seeing this bullpen. I don't know any other way to put it.
I think they were basing this off the back of the baseball card when it come to the everyday baseball players. That's what they were basing their faith off of. And some of the guys, that's why Ross was mentioning the core and the believing in the coaches and, thinking that the core and the coaches would flip it over in the back of the baseball card would look that way.
With all the analytical folks they have, did anybody because we know how bullpens are.
Mm-hmm.
We know that they're fungible, that bullpens, nobody put their arm up and go, or put their hand up and go, maybe we need to try to bring in a few more. There's a reason we brought Jordan Hicks in last year, right? And what happened in this offseason? Jimmy Garcia was really good. Maybe the thought, we got gold in Jimmy Garcia here. Jimmy Garcia can fill in for Jordan Romano. Mm-hmm. But
I think as soon as you saw Jimmy throwing as hard as he was throwing in spring training, that should tell you, boy, we need to go out and get another guy. Because as old as he is, as hard as he's throwing, this probably ain't going to last very long.
Yep.
We need another guy. We need to think ahead here. We need to be proactive and think that if, say, Jordan gets hurt, this guy throwing as hard as he's thrown in a bazillion years, and he's 32-ish, maybe it's time for us to think ahead a little.
They got a lot of people making money who can make that decision.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, don't come here and, I hate the argument, well, what would you do? You don't want to know what I would do because I don't make enough money to decide how you build a bullpen in the major leagues.
Can ask me.
I could ask you.
Mm-hmm. I'm not afraid to tell you.
Betty in Manitoba. Whereabouts in Manitoba, Betty?
Mitchell, actually.
Uh-oh.
That doesn't sound good.
Swear to God, I don't know. Where's Mitchell?
Okay, Mitchell is only about 5 minutes from Steinbach, if you know where Steinbach is.
The Automobile City.
Oh, yes.
Okay, there you go. Now I'm okay now. Because my knowledge of Manitoba geography sorted to the east towards and around the Interlakes and all that. But anyhow, there you go. So the Automobile City. I'm happy now. Go ahead.
Sounds good. Okay, well, first of all, thanks for taking my call. I'm a longtime Jays fan, MLB fan, first-time caller, obviously, and just want to mention, though, Jeff, I'm also a U of M alumni, so they're not a bad place, actually.
No, it's good. It's there are some of us around. It's amazing how so many of us seem to surface in the media business, but there you go. That's the way it is.
Okay, and so anyway, I just wanted to first of all, thank you and Kevin for doing just a great job. I mean, you've heard it, but I'm just going to echo it again. I really enjoyed Blair and Barker and Jay's talk. Just so, candid, the banter, the nice variety. I really like the variety of guests.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. And I just also wanted to do an extra shout out. I really enjoy Show Ali as the host on the weekends. He's also quite outstanding for similar reasons. Yeah,
so do we. And he also produces this show.
Yeah,
and he does a terrific job.
Sure does.
Okay, and I certainly could make, echo again other comments, some of the other fans. I mean, you've heard it over and over, and I just want to say that, as frustrating as it is, as a sports fan, the ebb and flows. I follow a number of sports, and I mean, on the one hand, it's great to see that they brought up these Buffalo Boys finally, and there's other sporting cast that seems to be coming behind them. And thank goodness for those starting pitchers to get us through to this point. The one thing I was going to ask, though, and maybe this is more directed towards Kevin, but Show did mention that is it true, in fact, that Vladdy is not doing the home run derby? Is that correct?
He is not. No.
He's not. He's decided not.
Okay, he's not. Okay, So, but I wouldn't mind hearing a comment just related to the home run derby on what your thoughts are in terms of what kind of damage it could do to the swing, like as far as, for the second half for any potential player that is actually doing the home run derby.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for the call.
Thank you, Betty.
Yeah, it's awesome. Look, I think that's to each his own. I think that's very individual about the home run derby. I know a bunch of people say that, taking that many swings that quickly is going to mess up something, rhythm and timing, or, something going into the second half of the season. Look, I think they take so many batting practices and they're used to hitting so many balls so far that I don't think that part of it is a big deal. I think it's the heart rate. That's what I think it is. Because as well as anybody, Jeff, me and you've been standing around batting cages, how they're laughing and cutting up and, ooh, look how far that went, and let's everybody admire it. You can't really do that in a home run derby. So I think it's that part of it that, say, Vladdy's of the world and, other guys that don't do it, that are bigger guys that are worried about that little heart rate and slowing it down, speeding it up, and, how many you have to hit, and it's timed now, and you got 40, I think it's 40 baseballs now in 4 minutes or whatever it is. I think they changed it up. So
My only concern with the home run derby has always been, Kevin, guys pulling oblique muscles or something. It doesn't seem to happen. I mean, I think we've kind of gotten over that. That was my only concern with it, because it's repetitive and you're up there and you're swinging hard. You're trying to hit.
Yeah, and a lot of people do change their swing a little bit, right? Say a Bo Bichette was to go in a home run derby. It's very hard for him to do all that a bazillion times, right, in a row. So you would eliminate a little of that. Maybe you wouldn't kick it as high. Maybe you wouldn't rotate your barrel as much. Like Vladdy, I think, did not as much of the fruition as he normally would. He shortened it up a little bit, just that way he could conserve a little bit of energy. And, that's the point of it. When it comes to going into the second half, I think that has nothing to do with it. I think they use that as an excuse sometimes. Like I was in a home run derby and that screwed me up and that's why I didn't hit. Whatever.
It's like anything else. You can find examples of guys have come out of the home run derby and haven't hit well. But it seems to me that it's less and less of a talking point. And more and more now, I think, for example, with Vladdy, I think maybe it's just Vlad. It's time someone else does it. I think that's really probably just the case for Vladdy, and maybe maybe he wants to enjoy it. He's got his family with him. Maybe he wants to spend time with the kids and with the family there and just chill.
I have been told it is a lot of work. I do think Vladdy's been searching for feel of his swing for a very long time. Like that field ball coming off barrel. He's been searching for that for a very, very long time. We'll be yelling and screaming, why ain't he hitting no homers? Why ain't he using the entire field? Well, where's that 2021 been, right? Is it Buffalo? Can he only hit homers to right field in minor league stadiums?
I would like
and finally he's starting to do it. So maybe that has a little something to do with it, too.
Yeah, I would like to have seen Vladdy go into it. But, whatever Vladdy needs to do to stay where he is right now.
Yeah. Because if they're going to lose, it's more fun losing with him raking.
Yeah.
It really is. It's just a lot of fun watching him do things.
This is the first time in 2 years, I can honestly say this. This homestand's the first time in 2 years that I've anticipated Vladdy doing damage at the plate.
You expect him to?
I expect it. I expect not just damage, I expect a home run or a double. It's the first time I can say that in 2 years.
Yeah.
That I am absolutely convinced. Doesn't matter who the pitcher is, doesn't matter what the situation is. I'm absolutely convinced that with one swing he can hit a home run.
There's less of that yelling at your TV. Why is he swinging at that?
Yeah.
He ain't doing it as much anymore. So,
all right.
It's a great question.
A very good question. Thank you for that, Betty. 5-3. 5-3. Blue Jays losing to the Houston Astros. 3-5 in those 8 games against the Yankees and Astros. They've got a 9-game road trip starting tomorrow night in Seattle. And we'll be along following the game on Thursday, actually. An afternoon game. But don't go anywhere because Blue Jays talk. Nope, we're doing Blue Jays talk. Don't go anywhere because Blair and Barker is up next on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, the Sportsnet Radio Network on Sportsnet.
This has been Major League Baseball play-by-play on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
Why do I love calling this game?
Calling this game.
Calling this game.
Calling this game.
Why do I love calling this game? It's because I get a chance to bring some joy into people's lives.
Anything can happen on a baseball field.
We've got a new game. It's perfectly unscripted theater.
Everybody on their feet.
Because you never know what you're going to see on a given day.
It is bedlam in the bank as Bryce Harper has put the Phillies on top.
There's just something about baseball on the radio.
Something about the way wood hits leather.
A swing and a drive to deep left center.
The way leather hits dirt.
And he made the play. Oh, my.
The way a deep fly ball sounds like it's about to change history.
High fly ball to center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall.
Until the cleats hit the grass, hit the crushed brick, and then nothing but sky and a silent crowd.
That ball's high.
Until leather hits leather and 40,000 fans lose their collective minds.
In a perfect symphony of chaos.
He jumped up on top of the wall, balanced himself, and caught it.
The way nothing triumphs a perfectly honest call.
I don't believe what I just saw.
And the way the right voice can make a moment live forever.
Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Outsiders may think this is just two teams.
The ball, a bat, and a microphone, but no.
For over 100 years, this has been the soundtrack of the American pastime.
He struck him out looking. It's over. It's over. The Rangers have won the World Series.
The soundtrack of summer. This is Major League Baseball on the radio. Right now on Sirius XM.
All rise.
Coming in 5.
Get ready to play.
4.
Get up. Get up.
3.
Can you believe it? Put your seatbelt on.
Wow. Talk about the game and all the stories on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89, and the Sirius XM app.
.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 11:05 a.m., Washington Nationals take on the New York Mets. Nationals on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 869. Mets on Internet 857. 12:35 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates face the St. Louis Cardinals. Pirates on Sirius 209, XM